KB2 ZVP and 1DU. KB2 ZVP and 1DU.
Well, how bad's it gonna be tonight? N3 RMR. Yep, not bad. 3 or more. Hold up. Hello, and 3 or more. Test 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Gotta warm them up. Warm them up. They're cold. They're not putting out. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Testing 1, 2, 3, and 3 or more. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 3 or more. N3 RM4. Whoever is trying to call, you're very, very weak, old man. Try again. I need your prefix.
Really?
Oh, it's you.
KB3EJZ.
You should be like 50 over 9 and you're like 6.
Well, you're only S9.
That's terrible.
I fixed the wire.
No.
Yeah, I found out that it broke low.
What part of it broke?
About 5 foot away from up towards the cemetery, from where it was mounted.
The wire broke or the rope?
The wire.
The twin lead?
No, the single wire.
Oh, you're on the vertical.
No, I'm not. I'm on the inverted V.
Oh, the end of the dipole.
Yes.
You have to be more specific on which wire you're talking about. You got a whole bunch of them.
Well, that was the inverted V that went, and I got to investigating tonight because last night was sort of windy, and I was disgusted, and a lot of things.
Yes, I bet you were disgusted to get aided.
Well, the wind grabbed it and took it up into the pine tree, so I got the big pole out and I went and found it and grabbed a hold of it and worked it down and worked it back to where it was busted.
Was that you tuning up earlier?
Yeah.
So basically the only one I'm hearing is you.
Yeah.
Nobody else on the band.
Not yet.
We don't hear anybody else on the band tonight. Something major must have let loose.
Well, not quite sure.
I don't think I've ever been on 160 when it was that bad.
Well, maybe everybody's doing something else.
No, there isn't doing anything else when it's Toad Harbor time.
40 over, and you're just barely over S9.
Well, yeah, the band's broke. We had a major solar event, and it hasn't recovered yet.
Oh, just went up.
Yeah, I might come up to all of about maybe 5.
Now you're just about S40 now.
What?
Yeah, you're even climbing higher now.
I'm starting to wonder if I don't have a problem with his amp.
Is it warmed up?
Well, it's kind of getting there.
Well, you were only S9 before. Now, yeah, I'm even warming up too.
Yeah, now you're at 10 over 9.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I got the tubes warmed up now. I can turn my drive back down to where I normally are.
Hey, Mark, it's Roy, KC3BYC.
It doesn't like, when it's first cold, it don't want to put much power out. It takes a little, it's like half power, and then when I finally warm it up enough, then it starts really doing what it's supposed to do. I heard another station in your piss week to Sunday, but good evening.
I forgot to turn the gonkulator on. Mark, it's Roy, KC3BYC.
Oh, good evening, Roy.
Yeah, you're about 100 over here into Danville, Pennsylvania.
100 over?
Well, you're allowed to exaggerate.
Do you know what that would be on your wire? That would be like 1,000 volts, peak to peak.
Yeah, so you're allowed to exaggerate. Fishing, hunting, things like that.
My God, you'd need to have the power of lightning to do that.
Well, anyhow, you're probably, if all honesty and everything, no exaggeration, 21 over 9.
21? I went from 100 over to 21 over. What do you think, Gary?
Did he get his glasses out?
Kind of liking the 100 better.
Yeah. How am I doing up there in Danville? This is Gary, Golf Alpha Roger Yankee, KB3EJZ.
Gary, both you guys have about the same signal, about 20 over. I said 21, but round it off there to about 20 over, and good audio.
I knew those corners being lower were going to affect my output.
Yeah, just have to go buy some more pipe.
Gonna have to get another 10-foot section on the bottom that's wider and go up another 10 foot or 8 foot.
Mark, you sound better here than you did on 60 meters Saturday morning. That was pathetic.
We've had a big solar event that just basically shut everything down for 48 hours.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I have no noise floor right now. And everything's looking good here, so yeah, it's just one of those things. Okay, I'm not going to hang in here, but I was tuning around and heard you, thought I'd pick on you a little bit.
Yep, I'm here.
Well, we're still way short.
Yeah, the band isn't leveled out yet. It's still too daylight.
Well, I can tell because I don't hear any crashes in the background.
So where's Jeffrey? Oh, wait. That's right. He doesn't get on 160, does he?
Nope, he don't do it. I don't think he has the wire for it.
Hey, Gary, where are you at?
I'm about 15 miles north of Mark in a little town called Marysville.
Oh, yeah, I've been through it zillions of times. Mark, you're over by High Spire, aren't you? Didn't you tell me you're over somewhere there by around the airport or something?
Well, that's me.
Yeah, he's up there at the north end of the runway.
Yeah, I get down that way in spurts. I haven't been through Marysville for a while. I can go that way. I drive truck, and I know 102s aren't allowed down Route 15 there, but we have skinny trailers, so I can go that way.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed last year with your Hamfest up that way.
What, were you at Lime Ridge?
Yeah.
I'll be darned, I didn't get introduced to you, did I? I was there for, well, I guess till the end.
Well, I think we all went up and we all left real early because it wasn't a lot of anything. I was like, really disappointed. The year before it was really good.
Yeah, you never know. I went to the one up at Elmira. I've been up there twice, and it's always been rotten weather, raining and stuff, but good turnout. They always have a good turnout.
Well, they had the turnout. There just wasn't anything there to get.
Oh, it turned out all right. It turned out to be lousy.
Mark, you were at the Firecracker, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I was there too. Well, I have to make sure we really find each other this year.
Well, I mean, is that like on your bucket list?
I go to it, but yeah, I ought to meet you in person. Maybe I'll never talk to you again, and maybe you'll never talk to me again, but I ought to meet you in person.
Are you like generally slightly overweight, a little older than middle age, and basically disgusted with life?
Well, I don't know if that's a complete description, but yeah, I'm a little overweight, and my birthday is tomorrow, and I'll be 68 degrees. 68 years old tomorrow.
68?
So, yeah,
Oh my God!
And yeah, I'm mad at the world, I guess.
There you go. That about sums up the average Hamfest.
Yeah, he was the guy walking around in the pink hat.
I did not have a pink hat.
I remember it was so stinking hot down there last year. Maybe it was the year before.
No, last year was
really hot,
I came with Jeffy. I seriously think that last year is probably going to be the last time Jeffy goes to it because, man, it was like 93 degrees that morning, and it was climbing a degree every 5 minutes.
It was probably near 100 before it was all said and done, especially out there on that asphalt.
Oh, it was brutal. We got some nice stuff, though. Yeah, that was the one where I sold the 440 antenna out from under because Jeffy wanted both those 440 antennas. He wanted to do a phased array, and I sold the one out from under.
Yeah, I know.
He was all bent out. It's like he's going to use that band for anything. He doesn't even talk on the radio now.
Well, you had bought it and turned right around. I don't even know if it was 20 minutes, and you had it sold again.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, somebody wanted it more than I did, and I made quick $5 on it. Hey, what the hell? It's all junk anyway.
Gotta find me a 220 beam.
And just make one.
Hey, you were the one telling me you had to have your Kenwood so you can talk on 2 and 440.
Exactly. Yeah, but you have to actually, use your equipment, Ray. You got to, be home. When you're home, you actually use your equipment every day, even if it's just for 5 or 10 minutes, to check in with somebody you talk to on the radio. Let them know you're alive. That way you can call yourself an active ham. You don't buy $15,000 worth of radio equipment, antennas, towers, have your buddies come over, do all kind of work for you, and then never use it.
But you don't have $15,000. You got $500 worth of stuff. And like I said, why anybody would get on 440 or 432 for anything is totally beyond me.
Well, we used it for a while.
For short range.
Not anymore.
Why?
Right.
Did they ban it?
No, but there's nobody there.
Well, that's what makes it great. The 220 band's even better. You can basically just do whatever you want there, and nobody would ever care.
That radio, that Kenwoody have doesn't talk on 220, does it?
No, I actually bought a mobile. I actually spent money and bought an Alinco Mobile 220 radio and built an antenna for it.
So did I.
I got all bands from 160 to 1.2 gig.
Never talked to anybody on 1.2.
I'm still waiting for somebody within the valley to come up with something.
Hey, I've got the 4 Wemo Yagis you need.
No, Ray, I'm not buying your Yagi.
You buy 2 and have your other friend buy 2, and you can talk to each other. Now, there's an interesting band.
Oh, now that is an interesting idea. Do you have a 1.2 gig radio you can sell them?
No.
Well, see, that's the crux, isn't it? Have you seen the prices on them things lately if you wanted to get a 1.2 gig radio?
No, but nobody makes them anymore, so I imagine if you want one, you got to pay big bucks for it. That's why I told you, that thing you got's worth a lot of money. You should just sell the damn thing and buy a real radio.
I have a real radio, Ray, and I'm never selling this radio because it's got 1.2 gig all mode.
Yeah, that's just about 10 times less useful than 440.
That alone makes the radio worth keeping.
Well, maybe if you're a total nutcase and you need a psychiatrist, I agree with you.
I am a total nutcase, and I do have a psychiatrist, and I'm glad you agree with me. Now that we covered that. Oh, by the way, Ray.
Yes?
Good evening.
Good evening.
I can hear you.
Of course you can. You fixed your antenna.
I love you. You're great.
And I can hear you too, Ray. And I just fixed mine too tonight.
Well,
good evening, Ray.
Yours was legitimately broke.
Yes, it was laying, the rest of it was laying on the ground and part of it was still up in the tree.
Mine was legitimately ill-conceived.
Well, I guess I'm going to hang around. I better ID. KC3BYC.
Yeah, I thought you were running off or something.
Do what?
10-3 or more.
KB3JZ.
So, Gary, when are you going to get a respectable call?
Me?
Yeah.
I've had this for over 20 years. Why change?
Yeah, but, people think it's just like you're a novice or something.
What, I should get a WA?
Yeah, get a vanity call. Get one of those 1x2s or something really impressive.
I just heard a car door. The light piece on. See you guys later. KC3BYC.
All right, we're here if you want to come back in 3 or more.
Mark's still stronger than I am, Ray.
I don't know. Go ahead, talk, and I'll watch your signals.
Okay. Well,
you mean we got to do this at the same time?
The still broke. It's short right now.
Yeah, that time Mark was a little bit stronger. He's about 4 dB stronger.
What do you do, talk over me?
Well, that's one way to do it.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
I'm sure he heard what you said.
WA3FPN.
Hey, there it is.
Good evening.
Just the man I want to talk to.
I know nothing.
Sergeant Schultz.
Did you ever, I know you probably forgot to do this, but I was driving the Beamer today, and I took it through the gears, and I have to really wonder if that car's got the bigger engine in it. Is there any way you can look up the block number and tell me where it is?
Yes, I can. I don't know if I have anything up here that I can do it with. I may have to go to the shop, but yeah, I can find out where the casting number is located.
Yeah, you don't have to go do it now. Do it when you're at the shop, because I'm telling you, I took that thing through the gears today, and man, I was up to 80 miles an hour in no time at all. It's hard for me to believe that's only 185 horsepower.
The Kennedy curse, Ray. You keep pushing the envelope.
What are you mumbling about?
You keep pushing the envelope. The Kennedy curse.
Yeah, no, the secret to racing is get on a road where nobody can get out in front of you.
And then the squirrel jumps in front of you?
I'd mow it down 2 seconds flat.
You know, it's probably just because you lost all that weight that it seems that much more snappy.
Well, I don't know. It just seems to have... I told you what the story is with that car. It came with a 3.0 sticker on it. Now, it's hard for me to believe they put the 3.0 sticker on a 2.5 car. It just... I think those cars go down lines, and, something's not right.
Well, maybe it's like those stamps that get made with some kind of a misperfection on them or whatever. Maybe it's the same with your car, and it'll be worth like $1 bazillion.
Don't they just recall them?
Probably not a 2000. That's a 2000, right?
2001.
It's worth at least 17 grand.
Did they call you on the phone and say your warranty's about to expire?
Oh, I used to get calls like that all the time from my Impala. Yeah, I don't even bother with that stuff.
I don't even own a car, Ray, and I get those calls about my warranty. I get those calls about my bike.
As in sickle or motor?
Sickle.
Didn't somebody steal that one?
No, I got that one locked up.
But they stole your other one.
No, that wasn't much to steal. In fact, when I left, I really wasn't all that broke up about it.
Well, you ought to booby trap it.
No, there's nobody down here worth booby trapping, trust me.
It was probably the junk man that went by and said, I'll throw this in the back of my pickup for metal weight.
And he did me a favor. He should have took my steel antenna, too.
Stole your antenna, too?
Yeah, the steel one.
While you were on the air.
He would have done me another favor.
Did you tell him about the police chasing your backyard one time?
Oh, yeah. That was funny. Some dude is from jail or something. Anyway, he was. They were chasing him down, and the car got into a wreck out here in the corner or something. He jumped out of the car and he started running on foot, and they were chasing him. He jumps over the fence on the one end of my property, and he's running across my garden at night. Well, he gets snagged up in one of my ground radials, and he falls in the garden, and the police tackle him in my garden and apprehend him.
I'm surprised he didn't sue you.
No, they promptly put the cuffs on him and tased him, and then while he was still wiggling, and they threw him in the back of the car, and supposedly all of this happened, and I wasn't even out there to see any of it. The wife, when she was still here at that time, informed me as to what happened after the fact.
Did you get reimbursed for all the carrots that were destroyed?
No, I didn't get reimbursed for nothing.
Well, that sucks.
Just another ham saves the day. Put a criminal back where he belongs. And he did it with an antenna. That's ham power.
So where's the great Randy tonight? Is he late again, or he's not going to show up?
You know, I noticed a disturbing pattern with him, Ray.
Yes, I know. So do I.
And it's all happened since I've come here.
Yeah, he's probably trying. Yeah, he's probably down and talking to you on the other frequency.
Is he on 1855 now?
No, that's where I'm not. What frequency was the old one, Mark?
I don't know. I wasn't around then.
Where you used to talk to your old buddies there.
I'm not giving that frequency out. I'm not going to give them free advertisement. $1900. I used to talk in 1900 about 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, what happened to those guys down there? When I first got on 160, I used to listen to that Top Band net, and then they kind of disappeared.
Well, life got in the way. They all got busy, grew up, did other things, fell apart, got arguing, got too many people, didn't get along. You know the drill.
It sounded like most of them were retired, so it wasn't like they had to go to work or anything.
They went and they came.
Familiarity breeds contempt.
Ray, I got a question for you.
Yes, go ahead.
If you get abducted by an illegal, can you say you were abducted by aliens?
Sure, why not?
But would that be a close encounter of the fourth kind?
No, the dirt kind.
Did you get your mast and your poles and stuff ready yet, Gary, for the loop?
No, didn't even buy the wire yet. Waiting for the 27th. See what how you can do it the Mark way.
No, you need to ask Ray what kind of wire to get.
What, 14 gauge or 10 gauge?
Come on, Ray, hook a brother up. Tell him all about it.
And 2 Echo Whiskey Mike.
Now where'd he go? Echo Whiskey Mike, what's new and exciting? Come aboard.
Not a lot, Mark, not a lot. How about you? How's things down south?
The antennas are still up, I'm still breathing, and the amplifier finally warmed up.
Yeah, that's all that counts. Yeah, sounding good up here in the Binghamton anyways there, Mark.
The noise floor, hold on, I got to get off the let me check something here.
You are 20 over.
Yeah, we still have a high noise floor, so whatever particles are still spraying from the sun, they're still coming.
Actually, you're 22 over.
So I was 21 over earlier.
No, you're 20 with me over right now.
Well, you're up to 40 over here now.
He's warming up now, baby. Cooking.
Yeah, the gray line's passing now. Where'd Ray go?
The beacon yet.
I believe, according to Ray and Randy's current theory on what should probably be used is 12-gauge wire. Copper, solid.
Yes. For the
Now, I
10
could
gauge down
do
the
that, but
line.
if I do that, I'm going to have to put one more support out there. You know, Gary, between the long span between the crab apple tree that hung the wire up and that other far corner down at the northern corner there, that long span, I'm going to have to put one in the middle of that.
Now, is that insulated wire or uninsulated?
Lead insulated wire.
Now, will that be subject to snow static or snow charge?
Well, the interesting thing about the loop, Garrett, is it goes all the way around to the ground side of whatever feed line you're using.
Yeah, well, I sort of had that here, and it took out my LDG in that snowstorm 2 years ago.
Yes, but you don't have a loop. You had a dipole, so the one side was going to the center conductor, and it was open. There was no path to ground except through the front end of the tuner.
Well, that's an interesting question. Will insulated wire shield you from the static discharge, though?
No.
Or it doesn't matter?
Negative.
No, that's not going to. 50,000, 100,000 volts is not going to. That little thin bit of plastic ain't going to. No.
Well, see, it's the constant snow hitting the wire is what builds up the charge.
So once again, if you have a loop, the other side of the loop comes back and goes to the ground side of the feed line, whether it's open wire feed, which comes down to the tuner, or if it's coax going to open wire. However, the one side goes to the ground, so the static charge is dissipated on a loop. Now, if you're running a dipole, one side is to the shield side, the other side is to the center side if you're using coax. Open wire line, of course, both ends would be open.
I'll
but
be right back.
so with a
Mike.
dipole, you have no return path. So whatever you build on that one side, it's just it'll go through whatever circuit it's connected to get the discharge. That's one of the little unfortunate disbenefits of running a dipole antenna.
Yeah, do I know? KB3 EJZ.
Now, if you're running a Ballon, like a lot of guys like to run, that kind of takes care of that problem too, because the Ballon just shorts out the static buildup to ground, and you don't have to worry about it. But the problem with running Ballons on this band is that the majority of them that are available to purchase are absolutely crap on this band. So you kind of have to really make your own Ballon for this band to do it right.
Somebody yelled wrong in the background.
I know, there's always somebody with a dissenting opinion, but he was too weak for me to hear, so I don't know, maybe later he can say why, but...
Yeah, he was weak.
He's very weak. In fact, most of the guys that have a disagreement with things that are said on this frequency, for some reason, always seem to have consistently the weakest signals. Now, I don't know if that's an indicator of what might be wrong with the thought process, but I don't know.
That's what stainless steel wire will do.
Yes. Remember when I used to argue that point? I was weak.
Now look at you.
I've come to see the light, and now I'm just a little less weak.
They're like Captain America. Right, Ray?
Ray, whatever you say.
Ray, you're not being very controversial tonight.
And there goes the...
You're almost acting like you're distracted.
Yeah, I'm playing with the radio.
Oh, really?
He's learning.
And what are we doing?
I'm trying to make all you cruddy-sounding people sound good.
Oh my God, you are obsessed with perfect sound. Let it go.
Yeah, well, you're not listening to yourself.
I gotta listen to you.
Yeah, well, if you had a good radio, I'd sound spectacular.
I don't care how you sound. I'm interested in what you're saying.
How's
This
my
is
sound?
broadcast
N2
radio.
Echo
This
Whiskey
is
Mike
pretty
in
amateur
Binghamton, New
band
York.
stuff.
It was only a beggar.
How much was he looking for?
I don't know. I hung up on him real quick.
Yeah, it's no fun.
It's the same guy all the time. Middle Eastern accent.
Yeah. Ray, you're just gonna pull your hair out trying to make me sound good because I don't sound good. So just let it go.
Shut up, Ray, you ass.
And Gary even sounds worse.
How much power are you running, Mark?
Audio, about 1,200.
Okay, then we should sound about the same signal strength-wise.
Yeah, but your audio sounds great.
That's my melodious broadcaster's voice.
Oh, no, you weren't a cheap bastard like I was, and you actually got some real equipment.
They made me do that before they let me talk here.
Uh-huh. See? I didn't have to do that to talk here, and I got a T-shirt.
That's because you're special.
You got that right.
Wait,
Mark, how's my signal down south tonight? N2 Echo Whiskey Mike in Binghamton, New York.
Go ahead, New York.
1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Mary had a little lamb, and then she lost it.
You're weak but copyable. It's probably not you. The band is still stupid.
You went down a little bit. You're about 18.
Yeah, we're still in that solar crap. Last night it was so bad. Oh my God, I was watching Randy go from 20 over down to 5 S units, and then back up to 20, 25 over, and then back down to 6 S units.
That's because his antenna is only 35 feet high.
I don't know what was going on last night. Bruce was stronger than anybody.
We're in the middle of serious proton
Here he
particle
comes.
inducement.
Here he comes, and he's pissed. He puts out a pretty good signal for only being 35 feet high, though.
Are you running an amp or just 100 watts?
I'm running 50 watts.
50 watts.
Yeah, it says, nope, there was 60 right there.
Is that even legal on this band?
It is if you have an antenna as high as mine and big.
I think there should be a bottom speed limit, like a top speed limit.
If you're running a full-size loop at 80 feet, you can run barefoot, but if not, you have to run an amplifier. It's criteria on this net.
Well, you're like 4 or 5 over 9 with your power level and your loop, and the noise floor is 8. No, the noise floor is 9.
Kilo Charlie 3, Mike India Oscar.
KC3 station go.
Kilo Charlie 3, Mike India Oscar. I'm in Pennsylvania. My noise floor is S5. Over.
Okay, in Pennsylvania with an S5. What part of Pennsylvania?
Jim Thorpe, northeastern Pennsylvania, 2 hours west of New York, an hour and a half north of Philadelphia. QSL.
Okay, on Jim Thorpe. Yeah, you're on the eastern. Yeah, we're about 85 miles apart.
I was going to say, you guys must be pretty close.
Yeah, I just stopped in here. What's the call signs again?
This is Norway 3 Radio, Mexico Radio. I'm down by the Harrisburg International Airport near Harrisburg.
And the other guy?
This is November 2 Echo Whiskey Mike, and I'm located in Binghamton, New York.
WA3FPN in Manheim, Pennsylvania.
I'd say we're all within about 100 miles of each other, over.
KB3EJZ in Marysville, Pennsylvania.
I don't know where the hell that is.
Yeah, we're all pretty close, I think.
Band's still short.
Marysville is the first civilized, well, we'll call it village that you come to in Perry County.
That's not helping.
I didn't know they were allowed to have hams in Marysville.
He's the only one.
That could very well be.
Well, you got that right. Well, there's AA3T. He lives out the valley, but his wife won't let him put up any antennas.
Oh, and by the way, Gary's neighbors are just dying to live beside him.
Yeah, there's people moving in all the time with stones.
There's a lot of racers around Marysville.
N2EWM on the 20. I got to run and have dinner, guys. I'll be right back.
Well, don't hurry on our account. 10-3 or more.
Bring us some leftovers.
That's the first traffic light in Perry County now, right?
Yeah. Well, no, there's the second one is up at Port Royal.
Oh, that was the first one?
Yeah, we were actually the first one, and they put a plaque up, and then they put one up at Port Royal.
Okay, so you were the first traffic light in Perry County. Okay.
Can you get there from Duncannon, or is the road still closed?
The road's open.
Did they make it any wider?
Negative. When you were leaving Marysville and heading up through Perdix, as you were going around the mountain there, half that road collapsed and went down on the railroad.
Ouch.
But that was last spring. They worked on it all summer, and they've got it fixed up finally.
Well, I know it got pretty narrow up there where they had the fence up and all the rocks were coming down.
Oh, that's 2 years ago. Yeah, they've got big steel netting up over that now, and they put new guardrail up and big steel pillars and all kinds of stuff.
So I don't have to worry about getting squashed when I go that way.
No, you're not going to get squashed. And then they moved down from the Duncannon Mountain to the one between Marysville and Marysville and Summerdale, Enola, and then they did that one too. Of course, they had that one completely closed when they were doing it.
Yeah, that had everybody pissed off.
There's a junkyard up there back off the road there someplace I was at a couple of years ago and picked up some parts.
No, it should be right there on the main drag. That's called Edkins.
No, it wasn't that. It was someplace when you're coming north there and you turn left and you go back in through the hills there, maybe a mile or two.
Oh, that used to be old Jack Fry's junkyard. They made him move that all out, or at least when Jack passed away, and they cleaned everything up.
Well, it's only about 2 years ago. I forget the name of it, but they had some imports and a lot of imports and stuff back there. I even forget what I went up there for, but I had to drive up there to get it.
Interesting. I didn't know there was another junkyard.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably about 2 miles off of, what is that goes up to? Whatever road that is that goes up through there, but it was about 2 miles to the west off of that road.
850?
No, the main road that goes through Marysville. It was right around Marysville or a little bit up. You turn left and you weave back through the hills there a little bit, and it was back there on the left.
Oh, it has to be still Jack's.
Well, it may have been, but that wasn't the name of it. I know that.
Or Fry's.
It'll come to me in a day or two.
Oh, by the way, how's the antenna tune up here, Gary?
Actually, actually, after I got it fixed up, it's 0.2 lower.
Oh, nice.
Because I used to have to roll the inductor to 114, and now it's down at 112.
Interesting. Yeah, Ray won't come on early anymore. We sound too lousy for him. We all got to go out and get 850s and super expensive microphones.
890s.
Yeah, that one.
Shut up, Ray, you asshole.
Highline Auto Parts.
I'll have to look that up.
It's on New Valley Road.
Well, maybe they just changed the name.
Well, it's possible. Usually where there is one, there was one there before and somebody else took it over.
A tuna. Well, I think maybe the little solar event might be calming down a bit. The noise floor is starting to drop a little bit.
Well, you have the event. It's at least 2, almost 3 days till it hits you. At least wise is the wave. Now you'll see it right away, but the wave takes a little while.
Yeah, the particles, they're not quite at light speed. They're considerably slower. Yeah, well, it started last night. Well, actually, it started yesterday morning. I noticed on 60 meters the band was just totally broke. And then all day things were just poo-poo, and then last night was really bad on the band here. And now tonight it seems to be somewhat returning slightly.
But I still haven't heard the beacon yet.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard that in a little while.
And you're not hearing static crashes.
Well, there aren't any.
There's no lightning anywhere in the U.S.?
Nope, I put a band on it tonight. No lightning tonight. We need a break.
Does that mean I don't have to unhook my antenna tonight?
Well, you know what? That still applies because Ray said so.
Well, it's good enough for me.
I had a few days ago, middle of the day, little bit of a rainstorm, nothing, no lightning, no nothing. All of a sudden there was a ferocious flash. It lit up the inside of my bedroom like a flash bulb. 3 seconds later, kaboom, and the whole house shook, and I have one of those giant MOVs on my panel, and it shorted that out because the TV went off. You know, the TV went off for 1/10 of a second. You just see the picture drops and then it comes right back up. So that was enough to trigger that thing on the panel. And I'm very lucky that I had disconnected the radio the night before, plus I disconnected the coaxial line going to the radio. If I didn't do that, this thing would probably be fried.
Well, you do kind of live on top of the mountain right beside a broadcast tower, Ray. What do you think the odds are?
Well, that doesn't matter. I mean, you know, there was lightning. I mean, what's the difference where I live? If there's lightning, there's lightning. There was just one big, huge boom, and that was the only one. So that's how freaky it was.
Shut up, Ray, you ass.
Well, I had one bolt of lightning. Well, I can't say I saw the lightning. I heard the thunder yesterday. Just one. Out of all those storms that came through, I was sleeping at night when the big front came through. So if there was any overnight, I don't know. I didn't hear it. I was asleep. But with the line before that, I had one rumble of thunder, and it was sort of subdued off in the background. Just one. Now Friday's event might prove to be more interesting.
I hope not.
Well, tis the season for the breezing.
Yes, I don't need to go through that anymore.
You need to get that thing out of that pine tree.
An IMAX in a pine tree?
No. I told you, Gary, when we did that, I told you, well, I know why we put it up there because of the altitude, the height off the ground. It's got the height, but that is just like, I think maybe we learned our lesson on that. We really can't go up there.
No, it's that wire I bought.
I don't think the wire has any problem. I think it's the pine tree. It moves around too much. You get ferocious winds up there.
I know I lost the siding on the house here on the last year in a wind event on the back corner, and they had to come up and fix it. And now I was looking out around, and I found some shingles that were loose. And I looked at the back side of the garage there, and there's two missing.
Yeah, you need to get that out of that pine tree, or yeah, we got to get you something that's man-made structure set up or something. Get off that pine tree.
Another reason to go down and look for tower.
I don't know if you're going to find any. And it certainly won't be good enough for Jeff.
Yeah, a little primer, some metal paint. It'll look good.
There you go, Ray. There's a guy that's got a stacked set of K1FOs phased on top of a 800-foot elevation point for 2 meters, and he never uses them.
Yeah, because there's nobody on 10 but guys with CB antennas.
2 meters.
2 meters, Ray. 2.
Oh, okay, 2 meters. Well, hey. Are they stacked vertical or side by side?
Vertical. Well, I mean, they're side by side, but they're vertically polarized.
Well,
oh, okay.
I've got the azimuth and elevation rotor on them, too.
I dug the base for that tower, helped put that tower up and everything. He's got a hazer on it the whole 9 yards. Never uses it.
Oh, that's Jeff.
He told me again this morning he's broke. He's always claiming to be broke.
Well, where's his money going?
To all his doctors.
Broke already with all those defined benefits that the state employees get.
To all his doctors.
NJ2 US.
N3 RMR. Go ahead, US.
Now, that's what I call, finally, somebody comes in that has good audio.
Okay, B3JZ. Bottom.
Hey, Ray, how you doing? N3 RMR, NJ2 US. Quick comment, just to, we're trying to solve a mystery here, and you might be at the root of it.
Oh, let me guess. I'm splattering?
Well, it's not so much splatter as it's a band-wide splatter. I had it across a QSO in 1860, and the guy called it out. He said that we're hearing an IMD from a station somewhere on the band, and you're laying a signal about every 20 kilohertz up on the band. I don't know if anybody else wants to try to hear you, like around 1860, they'll see it. What are you running?
Well, isn't that interesting? Well, this is a Kenwood 2000 and a Dentron 2500.
Yeah, something going on. I mean, try not to take my word for it. Love to get an independent confirmation of that. If somebody wants to go listen around 1860 while RMR transit, you should see his signal.
Oh, maybe there's something going on with the amp.
Sure is.
Can somebody else see it?
Sure do.
It could be the amp, could be the way it's being driven. Not sure.
Oh, okay.
Did Ray set up your audio?
No, Ray did not. I'm not blaming this on Ray. This has nothing to do with Ray.
I'm only joking. KA3ZWN.
No need to get Ray all pissed off.
Well, is it Mark or is it me?
Who else was spotting Mark's signal up and down the band? I'm just curious. Who was that?
Well, I was spotting it too. I hadn't said nothing to now, but you are ripping the whole damn band up.
It is Mark?
And when you do it, I got a spectrum scope, and I got it set up to where I can watch down from broadcast on up. And then I sort of slid you down to where you're talking, and you got about 3 humps that come in going on up to 2,000.
So it is Mark and not my, because I have a 2500 too.
Oh, it's Mark.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it earlier. This is N4RWW, but I was up and I was thinking it was the guys on 97 because they always want to run 5 or 6K wide and stuff. But it wasn't them when they stopped, and you actually raised the whole band on the spectrum scope. I don't know what you're running, but I mean, you can see the whole band on the scope sort of raise up.
Well, good Lord in a quarter, I'm not driving this thing that hard.
There's something going on. I mean, I don't know what it is. I'm not using just the computer thing, but anyway, it still shows, and I can pretty much tell the width and what have you. But I had the whole band coming down, and when you talk, for some reason, now you could be doing something through the computer to set up on the software, but you can see it, and you can listen to the jagged, you can see the jagged edges come up, and there's about 3 spots in there that are showing these jagged edges, and one of them, it falls in around 1991 or 2, and we're on 93, and we're on the south.
Oh, I apologize for all that. My goodness, I'm have to look into this here.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. That had gone. And you go on down the band and you can hear it, and there's spots where you're getting, I don't know what you would call it, but it seems like there's spots that come up where this thing is doing it. And I don't know if you have a broad spectrum scope or not, but you can see it. And it's little jagged, you can see the jagged peaks, and there'll be a hump, you know, where it's been coming up. And like I said, on one of the spots is where we're talking on 1993. It's sort of interesting.
I wonder if I lost something in the amp.
I don't know. I don't know. You're getting some kind of harmonic experience thing somehow, so there could be something, you know, in it.
You got a Kenwood, right?
Yeah, it's a 2000.
I had an old 830, and experienced something very similar to that. And what they had found and told me was I had a diode. What were we? We were on lower. Yeah, we were on lower sideband, and they told me on upper sideband, somewhere further away, I was doing some spurious activity. And what they traced it back to was a diode somewhere that was bleeding through slightly. KA3ZWN.
And 3 RMR at 40. try this. Turn off your amplifier and give us some signal.
Sort of an interesting thing. I mean, like I said, I've been listening to you a pretty long time, really.
This is unbelievable.
With my,
Just turn off the damn amplifier. I mean, this has been going on for 10 minutes. Just let's do the test. You're definitely splattering, like they said. Now, turn off the amp and turn the radio up to full power, which I think it is, and let's see if it does it that way.
I was waiting for you to reply.
SDR Play Duo thing, and you know that ain't you can't compare it to a true spectrum scope, but still it shows stuff like that.
Okay, Ray, here we go. There's 100 watts from the radio with the amplifier bypass. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 3 RMR.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything at the 100 watts, but then again, your signal's a lot lower too. But I'm on 1860, and you were making spurs, one of those on 1860 with the amp on. So with the amp off, I'm not hearing you. Did anybody else? Why doesn't me and Mark are going to talk. Why doesn't everybody go tuning around and see if you hear him when he's just running the 100 watts?
I can see it on the scope when he's got his amplifier on. He's got 3 big wide patches, 1980 to 2000, 2040 to 2060, and 1860 to 1880.
Like I said, you could put it on wide in the spectrum. I stay on one. His hump come up.
This guy's driving me nuts.
Come up also.
There's about 2 or 3 of them simultaneously.
So I'm going to go back to 93, so y'all chat, and I'll see if I hear you.
All right, very good. We'll be here in 3 or more.
Okay, well, just leave the amp off and see if anybody can hear you then.
Well, probably not. It kind of makes me wonder, because the amp's been acting a little bit weird lately. Now, I did buy this used. This isn't a new piece of equipment, so God only knows what might be going on.
You look clean barefoot, Mark.
Now, the next test I would like to try to do is run the amp, but at a much lower drive rate to see where it starts doing this.
Yeah, but you never service the amplifier. We've talked to you about it, just like with your antenna, and you never do it. Okay, so here's what you should do. This is what I would do. I would turn the amp off. Wait till tomorrow when you got nothing to do. Pull it apart. Remember we talked about cleaning the tubes and the sockets? Especially make sure you look at the filament pins. Get some deoxit with a Q-tip. Clean the filament pins. Look and see if the solder's melted out of the filament pins, which shows you have a bad connection. Clean all those pins, clean the tubes, and definitely clean the relay. Take the relay apart and get in there with some I would get in there first with some white paper and go back and forth 100 times. Now, I know it sounds excessive, but I put it in a pair of needle nose pliers. I fold a little piece of white paper over so it's 2/10 of an inch thick. Put it in the relay and squeegee it back and forth like 100 times you have to push it to the transmit side, and you can get the feel of it just right, and clean the relay real good, and then try it again.
Yes, I got all that right, but I was just curious that maybe I was perhaps overdriving the amp.
I doubt overdriving the amp would do that. I'm much more inclined to believe it, and I'll tell you why. Because when you were talking several transmissions ago, 20 minutes ago, I was hearing a mechanical breakup in your signal.
Yeah, it wasn't happening back up on 93 either, so there's something loose in the amp.
Well, that could entirely be the case.
Now, another thing to check on those old amplifiers. Again, you never service the thing, and we talked about this once before, but another thing you got to be real careful with those old amps with those phenolic crappy connectors on the back is the center pin from the PL259 has no tension on it at all. When you push it in, it's sloppy. So what you got to do is pull the amp out, turn it around, clean the inside with a Q-tip and some deoxit. Clean the PL259, clean the inside of the thing. You're going to be amazed how dirty it is. And if it's not a good tight fit, you take a piece of really, really, really small, fine wire. I'm talking about wire that's, the wires are 10,000ths of an inch. And you take something real sharp, like a little tiny ice pick, and you push the center pin on the PL250 SO239 connector. You push it in, and you stick a little piece of wire behind it. That's, you can't have it sticking out. You got to be able to push it in, so it tightens one or two of those leaves on that thing. So when you push it, when you push that connector back in, you have to push it, and it's kind of tight. That's probably what the problem is.
Check in KA3 CRC.
And it could be arcing, you know what I mean? You could be getting arcing inside the PL259 or something like that. Because like I said, I heard a mechanical breakup several transmissions ago, and I never said anything about it. But since everybody else is seeing you all over, that's got to be what it is. The braking station, go ahead.
Yeah, I was looking for WA2AXZ. Lobe, he was listed as being down here. I don't know if he's down here or not. If not, I'll check back up to the 1871 there. He must have been just listening in on your conversation. So, all right, thanks a lot. We'll go look for him on 1871.
Okay, 7-3. So you got that, Mark? Pull the tubes out, clean them, clean the pins. Make sure the filament pins are tight. They have to be tight. They can't be real sloppy loose. Look and see if the solder's melted out of the pins. If the solder melted out of any of those filament pins, then you know you have a bad connection. Okay, the PL259 connectors, clean those, tighten those up, and start from there. Maybe that'll cure your problem. And of course, the relay, the transmit relay, on the transmit side, not on the receive. Well, I'd cleave the receive side too, but you got to manually flick it with your finger to get the transmit side. Now take a look at it real good. Put some good magnifying glasses on, or use a magnifier, a jeweler's loop or something. If that relay's all crudded up and burned up, that's what your problem is. Of course, now remember, listen careful. Have you ever heard me say this before? You have to use a sequencer on an amplifier.
A what?
A sequencer. You've never heard me give this dissertation before? You have to sequence your transmit going into the amp, because with an old radio like you got and an old style amp, well, it's not the amp's fault, but the radio, they don't put the time delay. Like all these new radios, you can sequence it. So in other words, you can put a 30 or 40 or 50, like with this Kenwood, you can put up to a 50 millisecond delay on transmit. So when I key the microphone, it keys the relay in the amp, and you need about 25 milliseconds before the radio starts to put out power. On your radio, every time you key that microphone, you're putting the radio's transmitting RF, and the relay in the amp is not latched, so it's always switching hot, and eventually it burns the relay up.
Interesting.
You've never heard me say that before? See, I always use a solid-state sequencer because that was from my VHF days. You have to run sequencing not to blow the preamp up. But I always use the sequencer on all my amplifiers, because then you're not hot switching them, wrecking the relay and the tubes. And, it's not bad with a pair of 500s. They can take the abuse, but the 3CX800s can't take the abuse. That's why you need a sequencer. Now, if you had a modern, up-to-date radio, you just go in the menu and you set the delay, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'm checking that on my menu here to see if I even have that available.
Oh, I really doubt that radio has it. The only radios that have it are the 890, the 7610, and with the late program, if you have the latest program in the 7600, you have it. And I think, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure, I know I'm sure, the 7300 are all do it.
Correct.
6 does it too.
And they're about the only radios that do it. Randy's radio will do it, and I'm sure the new Yaesu will.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it here in the memories in any of them.
Nah, there's no way a radio that age is going to have that in there. Even the 7800 didn't, the 7600 did not have it initially. But a lot of people called up and complained, and they finally, they were able to put it in.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to break out the amp and do it a cleanup job.
The thing is, if you find the transmit relay all banged up like that, then you really have to, and you can clean it or replace it, whatever you do, then you really have to put a sequencer, either get rid of that old radio or put buy a solid state sequencer and put it in there.
Hey, I have a pressure washer down here. If you want to throw that thing on the back of your bicycle and ride on down, you're welcome to use it.
I think that's enough.
Do you have one of those transmission case cleaners? That'd do a great job.
No, I don't have one of those.
Well, I just happen to have a fantastic LNA technology solid-state sequencer here that I don't need anymore because I have a modern, up-to-date radio. I would be willing to bet you it's either the connectors, the PL259 centers, or the relays all pitted up. Now you know why the real hams, once a year at least, take their amps apart and clean everything.
What do I do?
You have to go down to Mark's house and take his amp apart and clean all the appropriate things. It's buckshotting all up and down the band.
Mark's amp is? How come?
Well, I suspect it's got a burnt relay or a bad PL259, SO239.
You know, it's amazing to me that this thing has this little BNC on the back of it.
Yeah, but that's the input.
Yeah, it's still.
Yeah, well, it's okay. And the BNC is a better connector than a PL259. It's much more impedance matched, and it'll handle 100 watts at low frequency with no problem. Well, you can go to 200 watts, right? I don't know. That's probably borderline. What that should have, what that amp should have on both sides is an N connector.
I wouldn't want an N on the output. I just don't trust those anymore. I burnt too many of those up.
Well, I have a nice 7/16 N, 7/6. They call it a HVN or a 7/16 N. That's about 10 times the size of a regular N. I'll give you one if you want to put it in.
You got both sides of it?
Let me think. No. No, I don't. I only have the male connector. But unfortunately, that goes on 7/8 hard line, so that ain't going to do you any good either.
I'll bet you John's got a bunch of those. He probably has all that stuff.
Okay, Randy?
Yeah, Marcus.
Are you looking at your scope?
I am.
Are you seeing me all up and down the band on the scope?
Not right now, no.
Okay.
Go ahead, talk. Is the amp back on?
Yes, I have. I'm driving it with a lot less power.
Yeah, you're way inside. You're 1.5 by 1.5.
All right, I might have just been overdriving it. I checked my connectors on the back there, Ray. They're nice and tight on the inside. In fact, there's a little bit of solder that's actually made them very tight, and there's no burning or arcing or any discoloration. So we got good match there. The tuning's great, and I'm driving it with, looks like I'm driving it with about 35 watts.
I'm not hearing you now.
All right, so let's increase the power up a little bit. We'll come up to level 55. There's about 500 watts out. We'll just keep talking here. And you remember when I was telling you that problem with the amp where the match was a little goofy? It's like a 1.5 to 1. It's not doing full output. Well, it's doing that right now.
Okay, I'm still not hearing you now, so go back to the way it was and see if I hear you.
All right, we're going to go back up to where I normally have it set at 70%. Drive, 1, 2, 3.
You're okay here.
All right, now we're going to take it up a little bit higher. We'll go up to 75%. 5%.
You're still fine. You're still well within the parameters. I mean, you're well within 2 and 2.
Yeah, but no, wait. He's not splattering here. He's down on 1860 in up the band, and he's not splattering from here up. He's coming out in different spots.
Oh, I'm not looking way out wide. Okay, go ahead. Try it again, Mark.
Okay, well, we can go back down in power, but we're currently driving it with, just about 50 watts. We're driving it with 50 watts right about now.
Just do this. Just key it and go 1, and pause, and then say 2, and then pause and say 3.
Okay, here we go. We'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Now I'll say Mary had a little lamb, all in a row.
Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow.
Yeah, it's not you. I was looking, there's 2 signals. One's 10 up, one's 15 down, but that's not you.
Well, go back to exactly the way you had it when they said you were throwing the buckshot around, because I'm not hearing you on 1860 now.
Okay, now I'm up to drive power 80% on the radio, and it looks like the output is just doing around 55 watts drive into the amplifier. This is the way I was hitting it when they were saying I was shouting all over the place. Over.
You're clean right now, Mark.
Okay, now, this is what I wanted to find out, because right now the amplifier is not really doing what it's supposed to be doing with this drive power, but as I talk and warm it up, if it goes back to driving hard again, I wonder if it starts producing, I'm starting to think possibly I have a soft or tube getting ready to crap out.
Hey, Mark, look at page 76 of your manual. You'll find that you can set a 10 or a 25 millisecond transmit delay for your amp.
On the amp?
No, you can set the delay on your TS2000, page 76.
Okay, that's in the menu, right?
I didn't read it much, but you can have a 10 or a 25 millisecond delay keying your amp.
I thought I could do that. Hold on, let me check that out. I got to pull the manual out.
Read all instructions before operating this piece of equipment. KA3VWN.
That's not hamming it up.
These guys are really, really lucky they're not flying an F-22 Raptor, because they'd be sticking in the side of the hill up the road.
Good evening, gentlemen. You too, Andy. Stellar 3, yes.
Hey, Doc.
That'd be you, Randy. Where's the key? Give me the key. Give me the key. I'll take it for a spin.
I'll figure it out when we shake it down.
That's right. Just pull off the runway and go straight up. At least you can't hit anything.
Exactly right. Well, maybe a spaceship.
Years in those flats, though.
Randy, you'd be the guy. You'd be the guy. You'd be the guy that would be out there landing in the dark on an aircraft carrier in the middle of the ocean. I know you would do it.
Well, with the right training, I would, sure. Who wouldn't?
A lot of people can't do it. There's plenty of people that wash out in the Air Force Academy there. They just can't, they don't have what it takes. Do you know this guy by the name of Grabeski? Grabeski? Something like that. He washed out of pilot school, and his trainer said, "You have no business being in an airplane. You cannot do this. You know, they washed him out, and then for some reason, I guess they were so short of pilots, they just put him in there, and he turned out to be the leading ace of all time."
Is that right?
Yeah, he had incredible. Look him up, Grabeski or something like that. It's a Polish name. I believe he was an ace in World War II and in let me think, Korea. I think both wars. But the guy was just incredible with an airplane. Just incredible.
Try it again, Russ.
Grabeski was number 3, Ray, behind Richard Bong and David McGuire. Those are P-38 pilots in the Pacific. Grabeski was flying P-47s in Europe. He had 38 kills.
Yep, and basically flunked out of pilot school.
Yeah, they were calling people up that they had given the thumbs down to because they were ratcheting through pilots so rapidly and air crew members that they were sort of reconsidering everybody.
Yeah, and David Bong got killed flying a Cessna on Catalina Island after the war. And Chuck Yeager mentioned that in his book, and he said how one of the greatest pilots that ever lived could get killed flying a Cessna is beyond me.
I thought that Bong got killed flying one of the early P-80 prototypes.
I don't think so. That's not according to Chuck Yeager's book. Go ahead. Is that you, Mark? Pick it up.
Yeah, I don't think I have this control hooked up because I don't have it going through the actual switch for the, I don't have the actual correct cable on the back. It's either a 10 or a 25 millisecond delay. I'm on that menu for the 25 millisecond delay.
It says you have to use the remote connector.
I don't have one of those.
Well, I don't know. I'm thinking, who was seeing him on the scope? Are you guys still seeing him on the scope? Because there's somebody talking on 1860 now.
I'm looking at him. I don't see any problem at all with him.
No, he's clean now, but it was when that guy came down and mentioned it, I went over to look on the computer on the HD SDR, and I could see the whole band. And every time he transmitted, the whole noise floor on the whole band would go up a little bit, plus these peaks at those frequencies I said.
See, now, if he would still have that junk stainless steel antenna up, nobody would even notice that.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
I still think that thing's got a bad connection on there. Something was overheated, and you really have to take those amps apart. Well, the first thing you got to do is put that 25 millisecond delay in, and then clean the relay.
Did it? Uh-oh.
Hey, Ray, Bong was killed flying a P-80A prototype jet in Burbank, California, August 6, 1945. Fuel pump malfunctioned on takeoff. Took it in.
Okay. Well, isn't that interesting? I'm sorry, go ahead, guys. I'm just, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, that's okay. We're just, anybody seeing him anymore?
No.
All right, we're going to leave it like this for a little while, and we'll use it, and we'll see what happens.
Well, I told you what to do. Check the fit on the PL259 SO239s and check and clean the relay. Now, did you put the 25 millisecond delay in?
That's according to what I have in the menu right now. It's on that setting, but I don't know if that's actually functioning because I don't have that correct cable hooked up.
What do you have to hook up another cable for?
So it's according to that part in the
probably
the
rather
book.
than the
There's an actual
RCA
cable
jack.
that's supposed to go between the amplifier and the radio. It's an accessory jack on the back that does all the keying and all that business. I didn't use that jack for my keying. I just used a push-to-talk line on one of the other auxiliary outputs. I found, I forget what pins it is, but it goes to ground when you transmit, and that's what I use to key the amp. So I'm not actually going through any AGC circuit or anything through the radio that would allow me to use any of those functions.
Oh, I see. You need like one of those 13-pin connectors or one of those gadgets there.
Yeah, I think it's a 9-pin. There's two different ones back there. There's a 13 and then there's a 9.
Get a DIN connector.
Yeah. I was, I'm cheap, so I didn't have that connector, and I didn't really want to wait to get that connector, so I hammed it up.
Do you need one of those connectors?
I don't really, I guess yes would be the answer.
I knew you'd say yes.
I don't know. I mean, it's working now, but according to what the book says, I kind of have to be going through that cable if I want to. But here's an interesting thing. When I went to menu 28, that's the menu that changes between 10 or 25 millisecond delay. When I turn that function off, I can't key the amplifier up anymore. So I must have been set on 1. I am now on 2, and 2 is a 25 millisecond delay.
I think I'm hearing you on 1860 again.
Are you? Okay.
I'm not positive. Now, don't talk right now. Nobody say anything. Don't talk for 1 second. Okay, no talk and stand right on the microphone.
Okay, I'm going to be right on the microphone the whole time. Mary had a little lamb or fleece was white as snow, and I'm tired of seeing snow because it's springtime.
Now, there's people on 1860 talking. There's a whole group of people.
Yeah,
that mess he was making before is no longer there.
I'm not 100% sure. What other frequencies were you seeing that on, Carl?
I was seeing these spikes is sort of a horizontal looking thing from 1980 to 2000, from 2040 to 2060, and 1860 to 1880.
I might have just been driving it a little too hard. I don't have the AGC cable hooked up on this either, so I don't even think this amp has that, does it?
Well, considering you can't get new tubes for that, that's I can't understand you doing that. You should set the power level very conservatively with that, because once those tubes go bad, what are you going to do?
Well, I don't drive it anything harder than like 55 watts in, right?
Well, what's that giving you for, if you put the radio into FM at 55 watts and key it, what's that show for power on the meter?
Oh God, that'll put it all the way over to its full boogie. You can't do that on FM.
Oh, yes, you can. What's the difference between a carrier on FM at 55 watts or your peak power on sideband at 55 watts?
The time that it's at that power?
No, you are absolutely 100% incorrect. The sideband signal probably gives you more peak power, so that's how you have to set that. Put that in FM, set it at 800 watts, and then whatever that drive power is, leave it there for sideband.
Okay, so that should be where I should be driving it, at 60%. According, that's where it peaked out at, and I went just below that on FM.
It looked good on the scope.
So I will leave it right there for now and use it like this.
Now, how much power, what was the power before, and what is it now?
I was bouncing up just under $1,000 before, now it's just a little over 500.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of thinking your watt meter isn't really showing you what you need to see, but it sounds better too. So maybe you were just way over driving that thing. What a shame, because you're killing those tubes.
Well, this is my first vacuum tube amp. I've been using solid state my whole ham career, and I'm pretty ignorant on a lot of that business, so you could be very well right.
Oh, I'm right. Believe me. If you put the amp into FM, and whatever you were driving it with before, it pushed it up to X amount of watts, and you switched to sideband. Now, the meter may not show you that, but believe you me, the amp is going to exactly the same amount of power, and most likely even higher.
Okie dokie. Well, we'll leave it here for now, and we'll see what happens. And 3 or more.
KB2ZVP.
WG2E.
WA3FPN.
And 1 DBO.
WA2E, yes. So guess what I got to hang on to today?
A red squirrel.
No, way better than that. A real, honest-to-goodness flamethrower.
A military one or something that somebody made?
No, military one. This guy, Mike, over at Stewart Electric, he's big into those things. And his best buddy wrote the book on all types of flamethrowers. And he's shot everything that the military has, including Russian ones and all those. And he's got one there that he's rebuilding, and he's going to let me. Oh, I got a picture of it actually. Yeah, I got a picture of him holding it.
Yeah, you got to have a special permit for those.
That'll take care of those squirrels.
Yeah, you got to see this thing. It's pretty cool.
Now, that's a real good idea. That'll keep the squirrels away from the bird feeder.
Hot pie.
So I dug up my septic tank today. I had to dig the lid up on that on my front step. So, guy's coming on Thursday to pump it out.
Are you having problems, or just for good cause?
I haven't pumped it in probably 15 years. I'm not having any problems, but I figured maybe it's about time.
We have to do that every 4 years down here.
By law?
Yeah, township law.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, I live alone, too, don't forget. So, anyway, yeah, he's going to do it tomorrow, so I'll do it more often. I know where the lid is. I'll mark it real carefully now.
Just you in the house for the last few years?
For the last 13.
Oh, you're probably okay, because I did mine, I don't know, 5 or 6 years after I moved here, and then again in another 10, and then I had it done in another 10, and the last time I was there was hardly anything in there. The guy told me I could go 12 or 15 probably.
Some people are more full of it than others.
Well, you do have a point there.
Especially if your septic tank is empty.
Anyway, Mark, I still swear I'm hearing him give me some kind of scratch down there on 1860, but I would still pull that amplifier apart and go through it. You've never done it. I mean, you really should go through that amp and clean everything up. Oh, that's right. That doesn't have three. I was thinking it had 3 500s in it. Those other tubes probably don't have the problems with the sockets. That single tube amp that I sold to your buddy there, when I got that, and I took that all apart and pulled the blower and everything out. That was a mess. That blower was all coked up with crap. He had the speed way down. He put a big resistor in it, cut the speed in half, and the blower was all crapped up. So I took that blower completely out of there and disassembled the whole thing and cleaned it really good and then put the speed back up.
Yeah, mine's up, I think, on the higher speed. There's a variable resistor in there. You can slide back and forth to speed it and slow it. And I got it up on the, I think I have it on the high side. I could, next time I pull it apart, which will be next weekend probably, and to pop the other tube back in and to try that other tube. I have the third tube I want to try. And when I do that, maybe I'll take a peek at that.
I thought those things were bigger than that.
That's a real, genuine Army issue flamethrower.
And use that to make the weenies.
And that's not one that you wear on the backpack. That's an actual, one. You got to have the lines that go to it. That one will shoot many feet.
What do they use for the fire on those things?
Anything you want to put through it. It'll burn gas, it'll burn kerosene, diesel fuel, and it's got a thing where you spin on napalm. There's a can of there's a spot there where the napalm goes into it and it shoots that out too.
Cool.
All you need is some ivory flakes and some gasoline.
It's got a big hose hook up. It's got a 1-inch hose that hooks to the thing that the fuel comes through. Think of that. A 1-inch hose for the fuel is a fuel line.
Well, that doesn't go on a backpack?
No, this is not one that goes on the... I don't know. No. He's got backpack ones, but they're way smaller.
Well, what's that go on?
This goes on a truck. This thing is, you mount it on a tank. This is like for a tank mount. This is a hand. You can do it by hand, but this is what they have on tanks.
Well, if that's the one they had on tanks during the World War II, those things will shoot like 300 feet.
Well, not when somebody's holding it, it won't, because it would have too much pressure against it,
Yeah, no, I know, but they had special tanks that carried a little trailer behind them with 300 gallons of napalm, and those things could shoot like 300 feet.
Yeah, well, he's got all kinds of them. He's big into these things.
So in other words, he's totally crazy.
Probably wets the bed at night.
He's the guy that works on the boat, that crews the boat that sets the speed record, 240 miles an hour.
Yeah, so he's totally nuts.
Every time I see him, he's smiling.
Yeah, well, one of these days he's not going to see him, and you know what's going to happen to him?
Well, he'll die happy. I don't know. We're all going to die, Ray. You know what? You're not going to escape it.
The Kennedy curse is going to get him.
Well, it's going to get you too, one of these days.
That's right. I could have fallen in the septic tank today. I got to ask the guy. I'd bet you dollars to donuts people have fallen into septic tanks. And, if it's deep enough, they could drown in there. I mean, that would be a horrible way to go if nobody knew what happened to you.
We had a couple of guys that died down here years ago. That one guy fell in, and some fire people went in and tried to rescue him, were overcome by the fumes.
Yeah, the methane gas. You're not going to worry about drowning. You're going to die from methane gas poisoning.
Yeah, well, I was even sitting on that lid today, because that lid's big, and you could go through it with no problem. It's a wedge, it's a wedge fit, so technically it can't go through, but boy, I'll tell you, I was a little nervous.
My wife thinks that sometimes.
So how you doing tonight, Doc?
Pardon?
I said, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm just super.
Do I hear peepers? And it can't be peepers tonight, isn't it too cold?
Yeah, it's 40, and they're out, yep. The window's closed also, they're not real loud.
I can hear them. That's so funny.
Hey, good Mike.
Yes?
Did you ever change a fuel filter on a Z3 BMW?
No, I don't think I have, but I can find out where it's at.
I'm just curious because I'm doing work with a new garage right down the end of my street here, which is extremely convenient because it's much closer. Number one, and number two, the guy will give me a ride home and then pick me up. So that really makes a big difference when you live alone. And he wanted $60 to change the filter on the Beamer. So see what the right price is.
Is that changing it and including the parts?
No, I don't think so, because I told him I would get the parts because I was going to try to get a platinum filter, which they don't make. I was just going to get a Gold Line Napa filter. And he looked that up, and he said that's like $30, but I'm thinking $60 labor.
We always love it when people bring their own parts.
Well, I brought my own part because I wanted to make sure I got the high dollar part. You know, when you put tie rod ends on a Chevy Impala, even the last time I put them on, they were Moog because the guy that did them told me, he said, don't bother putting anything but Moog on there, and I got Moog, and they still go bad. So for some reason, those outer tie rod ends on that Impala must have an awful lot of loading on them because they go bad really fast.
You have a lot of potholes?
The roads are rough around here, yeah.
Well, if you want to bring your own parts down, I'll put them on.
No, I just want you to tell me. Look up can you do that from in the house? Z3 BMW. How much to charge? Change the filter?
Wait a minute. What are you talking about? Just bring the car to the summit. Mike, bring your creeper. We got it all set.
The creeper better only be a half an inch off the ground.
Oh, we got jacks and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't think you'd ever want to get under that car on a creeper.
We'll bring some of those ramps with us.
Well, you guys can just pick it up, and I'll have somebody slide over and under and change it.
I've seen them change the filters on some of my vehicles, and boy, some of those are like on the Blazer. They had two guys working on the damn thing for a good solid half an hour. They had a hell of a hard time getting that thing in and out.
You just think they're working on it.
No, I was watching them. One of them's my friend, and they were having a hard time. Sometimes they're real easy, and sometimes they're not that easy.
Well, it depends on how long it was since the last time it was changed.
Well, on the Beamer, it's never been changed, but it's only 44,000 miles on the car, so technically it's probably time to change it, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're cheap enough that I would probably do it.
Well, sometimes it seems to have quite a little tiny bit of an off-idle stumble, and that's what happened to one of our Blazers. It felt like it had a bad accelerator pump. And I just guessed it might be the filter, and sure enough, I had the filter changed, and that cured the problem, number one. And the guy that changed it handed me the filter. He says, try to blow through that, and you couldn't blow through it. No matter how hard you blew on the input, you couldn't get anything through it, so it was really plugged up.
Yeah, if we think we have a problem with those, we usually cut them open.
Yeah, well, that one there is the only one that ever did it because I've had the filters changed on other cars, several of my cars, and you can blow right through them with no problem.
Right, guys, K1 Adam and Henry Adam.
Well, I hear you, Dick.
Hi, Ray.
hello. So, Mark, where'd you go? You disappeared. What, are you taking your amp apart to clean it now?
It's sounding good, Ray. I don't know anybody else in there. I don't hear them now.
I'm probably the only one on here you can hear.
Yeah. Oh, well. I want to say hello to you anyway. Hey, kind of chilly over in my yard all day with that northwest wind blowing. Oh, that was terrible.
Yeah, it was pretty chilly this morning. I hung out with the strikers a little bit around 10 o'clock. It was pretty cold.
Yeah, it sure was. Boy, I tell you, I don't know. Spring is here, but this cold temperature, I don't like them like that. I thought it'd be interesting to see,
By the way, for anybody who is interested, the Stop and Shop has 149 stores.
Wow.
And every one of them are out on strike.
Why are they striking?
Their contract ran out in February, and they couldn't get a new contract, and they were trying to cut their medical benefits and stuff like that. So they decided to go, and they wouldn't budge, so they went out on strike.
Yeah, well, they're going to get, Stop and Shop is such a small store brand compared to the big ones. They're going to have a hard time, getting much more out of Stop and Shop. Those people should all go to Wegmans or a different store.
Did you hear what I just said? They got 149 stores.
And you think that's a lot?
I think that's quite a bit. I think they grossed $7 billion last year. That ain't bad.
I wonder how many Wegmans stores there are. Let's just see what Wikipedia says here. Wegmans Food is a privately held American supermarket. Has 98 stores in Mid-Atlantic and New England regions. And what's it gross? What do you think? What did you say that one gross?
$7 billion.
Yeah, Wegmans does $8.9 billion.
Well, that's not a big difference.
It was $1.9 billion. $2 billion more was a lot less stores.
What's $2 billion one way or the other?
Yeah, just for information here, I just looked. A CarQuest premium fuel filter for that thing is $25. I mean, I don't have access to my regular stuff, but that's what CarQuest gets for one.
Yeah, and I can probably get the filter cheaper because I have a friend that works here. But what's the rate to change it? That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, I don't have that up here. I'll have to check in the morning down at the shop.
Yeah, but you got to think if it's $60, what's it take the guy to change it? It's got to take him at least a half an hour. $60 is nothing nowadays.
Well, I don't think the price is crazy, to be honest with you. But if Corby will change it for $25 or $30, I'll have Corby do it. I don't throw away money. I'm not rich.
Yeah, you're going to travel all over the place, and hopefully you can get it done for $20 or $30 cheaper.
So then I can go out and have a nice meal somewhere for that extra money.
KC3, KXB.
How'd you make out?
Well, with the cars?
Yeah.
Wife's car, just under 8,000 damage. My truck, just under 4,000. And the motorhome, just over 2,000.
Oh, well, you made out pretty good then. You're not going to total any of those, right?
There's the money for the new radio.
And what do you care if you got a couple of dents on your dually? It's a work truck. Screw it. Take that $4,000 and buy a new radio.
Yeah, you think it doesn't work that way anymore. They won't give you the money.
Yeah, they will. This stuff's all paid off.
Yeah, but they won't give you the full amount.
I don't know. We'll see what shows up in the mailbox.
They'll give you the full amount minus the deductible.
I don't think so. Let's say it was $4,000 to fix the truck, and he told them, I'm not going to fix it. Just give me the money. They'd probably give him like $2,200 or something.
That's right.
Well, if they're going to give him the money to fix it, he can get it fixed anywhere he wants. They'll give him the check, won't they?
Not the way it works here in Mass. They pay
backed into my Cadillac.
the fix-it place direct. They do not send you the money. You can say, I'll take the money, and then what they do is they prorate the car, and they take the price off the price of the car.
That is correct.
No, they had an estimate of tractor trailer backed into my Cadillac, and they came up with a number, and they gave me the money minus the deductible. As a matter of fact, no, they gave me all the money because it was the other person's fault.
Yeah, I had a truck got damaged by somebody else, and they never gave that check came right to me. As a matter of fact, the guy from State Farm wrote me the check and handed it to me.
Yeah, that's because somebody else hit you. So they get the full money from them, and they don't care.
Yeah, we'll see what shows up in the old mailbox.
What did they say, Tom? Did they tell you they're going to send you a check for it?
Yeah, that's what they said.
Yeah, then you'll get the check what they told you.
So you can start picking out the radio a while.
What about the house?
In the next couple of days, the adjuster will be here for the house.
Don't forget, tell them you want a whole new roof, because they did that here, and they didn't even question it. Every 3 or 4 people on my street got brand new roofs, and the whole thing was a swindle. This didn't even happen.
Tell me you need a 7851.
No, Tom's not that much of a pig, only Randy.
I would if I could afford it, and the next thing is if I knew how to run it.
Well, Ray wants you to get a Kenwood.
Well, a Kenwood's a much better deal. It's a much cheaper radio. And look at the bright side. If you get a Kenwood, I can tell you how to run it over the radio, which buttons to press and everything.
If you get a new ICOM, you already know how to run it.
Yeah, that 7851's just like the 7600, huh?
I use all the same buttons. The ones I haven't figured out yet, I don't even use.
They should put a button on that radio for guys like you. Do not push this button, and you push it, and the top pops off, and all the parts fly out.
Huh? I know all the buttons. Maureen says I should learn a new button every week, but I've done that. I've done the button trick in a lot of the menus and things like that. But it does so many things that it just doesn't. A lot of the stuff doesn't matter to me. So why go through it all? Because like a lot of the stuff, it'll do all kinds of digital things and whatever. But what I do have to do is learn all the antenna jacks in the back. There's so much. I pushed the antenna jack and held it, and oh my God, this whole radio just lit up, and I was afraid I would never get it back.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's exactly the problem with these things. Like I told you, I did it with the 7610, and I did it with this twice. You go to clean the screen, and you don't turn the radio off, and you start cleaning the screen, and it goes berserk, and everything changes. And the 7610 was way worse than this one.
See, right now, I'm on antenna 1, but I'm receiving on a receiving antenna. Somebody say something so I can see if I can hear you.
Hello, Mary, a little lamb.
Wow, you're just, I could just barely tell you're there.
You need a Kenwood with 22 dB of gain on the preamp, and you hit that preamp too, and it comes right up to S7 or S8.
There's way too much isolation on this thing for that. That's not going to happen here.
Well, if I put antenna 2 on, you're right down into the noise. But you put the preamps on, and I can hear you. Go ahead, talk. Hang on, let me put antenna. Let's see, antenna. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow.
Yeah, I can hear you without the preamp on.
Yeah, I'm sure you can. That's a Kenwood, that's why.
No. Look at what's his name there? Sherwood's. Look at Sherwood's information on your radio versus this radio. Look at the gain of the receiver without the preamps on.
Raymond. I've heard you say 1,000 times that Sherwood stuff you don't believe it's true. You don't think it's all that accurate.
I think it's not. I think it's accurate in what I'm talking about. Where it isn't accurate is where they say Kenwood TS430 has at 100 kilohertz spacing is like 134 dB when it gets wiped out from the stuff behind my house, and the 7600 doesn't, and it's 126 dB. But those figures, the minimum discernible signal is accurate. Your radio's minus 123 with no preamp on, and the Kenwood's minus 131 with no preamp on.
Raymond, you're embarrassing yourself.
No, look. Well, all I can tell you is look it up. It's right there. Now, if you put preamp 1 on, you are 135. Mine's 140. And with preamp 2 on in your radio, it's minus 141, and the Kenwood's minus 141.
I'm surprised you even kept that radio.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. It's a pretty bulletproof radio, you know. Pretty damn good.
I'll tell you, I looked at one at DX Engineering, and it's an impressive radio.
Did you go down and look at it in person?
Yeah.
It is. It's a great radio. It's not much better than yours, though, I'll be honest with you. Where it is better than yours, it's got much better well, I shouldn't say much better. It's got better transmit audio because it's wider. The speech processor works on AM, where yours won't work, give you any processing on AM. The noise blanker on your radio is better than the noise blanker in the Kenwood, so your radio is better there. The display is better on the Kenwood and the 7610 compared to your 7600. But in all honesty, if you're not going to see much difference in performance. There really isn't any reason for you to buy one of these. If you're happy with the radio the way it is now, you're not going to gain much by getting one of these.
I'll tell you, the 7610 was impressive looking too.
It is. It's a beautiful radio. It is. It's a beautiful radio. But considering the fact that, number one, it overloads very easily and it breaks constantly, there's no why buy it. I mean, you'd be crazy to buy it, knowing what you know now. Maybe in another year, but, until they straighten the damn thing out, I wouldn't go buy one.
Did they have any 7851s there?
They had one set up, and I'll tell you, now that is impressive. Your rig is huge.
Kind of sexy, ain't it?
I'll say.
Now, Tom, you know why a guy has to buy a radio like that, right?
Because he can?
Well, that's not the reason I came up with.
Anyways, it is UT full.
Yeah, thanks. I like it. Pretty nice radio. Did you operate it at all and see how similar it was to yours to operate?
No, there were signs out, do not touch.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They had the 7300 set up with the matching speaker. I'll tell you what, that is a nice rig also.
I'll bet if you were really serious about buying it, they wouldn't say do not touch. Right, that's right. I mean, that's kind of crappy, really. I mean, why wouldn't they let you? I mean, I guess if they're going to have somebody there with you, I don't know. It's just a radio. I mean, why not? And it's, if you get out into Gumby land, you just push the button and have it reset itself. They don't want kids getting their sticky fingers all over it, and they probably get a lot of kids in that store because of the speed shop. Yeah, oh, that's true, too, yeah.
Yeah, that's right in the corner of the speed shop.
Test one, test.
Yeah, I was there one time.
It's probably a good thing I don't live closer to a ham radio store.
Oh, what are you going to buy?
Oh, I'd find things, don't you worry. I went to see Mike yesterday, and I bought five mic connectors.
Mike who?
Over at Stewart's. I got what I like is I get both sides. I get the male and the female, both corded, so you can put a cord on a female or male, either way.
Yeah, changing that one in your old radio. I'm telling you, I put a lot of 15 hours labor to change that plug.
There you just killed the value of it. It's not original anymore.
But it works. Okay, how's this sound?
Is it supposed to sound different?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, let me see. Go ahead, talk, and I'll see if I hear you on the other end.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
There's somebody talking down there now, but you sound good to me.
Okay.
Well, so what did you do now?
Mark.
All right.
What did you do?
I actually pushed the tuner on between the radio and the amp.
The tuner between the radio and the amp, so you have good SWR?
Yeah, the radio, it looks like 1-to-1 now. The little tuner in the radio is tuning out the reactance going into the amp.
Yeah, okay. Well, that caused a problem too, because if the radio's right on the ragged edge, that could do something like that.
All right, we'll run it this way for a little while and see if I get any complaints.
I don't hear you down there. I'm listening on both with the other receiver on. I don't hear you.
All right.
I don't see you either.
We'll just continue on here, and if somebody hears something, please bring it to my attention.
You're wider now than you were earlier. You're out to almost 4 and 4, and not the main signal, but the feathers, and you weren't like that a little bit ago.
Jeez, Mark, stop talking. Stop talking. The space station just went over my house about 200 feet.
Huh?
Don't you get it?
No, Ray, that was way too corny even for me.
You almost crashed it. It went right over the roof of my house and then went back up again when you stopped talking.
Yeah, okay. I know NASA has some budget constraints, but I don't think they're quite that bad yet.
Have you ever watched that thing come by on a cool, crisp night? Boy, that's really impressive.
I always thought it was Sputnik.
Sputnik? Yeah. That's about what it's about. Isn't it like the size of a football field?
The current space station, yeah, I think it's darn close to it now.
It's really
I've
bright.
Seen it go over. You can see it coming from a couple of 100 miles away. But it's fast too. It's amazing how fast it goes. But that's pretty damn impressive, I'll tell you. That's really amazing.
17,500 miles an hour.
Doesn't it rotate go around the Earth in an hour and a half?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, right around 90 minutes.
It's got a boogie. It's on a low Earth orbit, so, I mean, it's not super low, but it's got a boogie to stay up there.
Wouldn't it be fun to get up there with a really, really good pair of super expensive, 15 or 20 power binoculars and just hang out, watching, looking what's going on?
Well, they got better than binoculars up there. They got full telescope.
Yeah, but you can't really run a real high-powered telescope because the damn thing's moving too fast. But a pair of binoculars in a good clean window, you could stick out and get some pretty good views.
You'll just see the clouds a little bigger.
Yeah, but when the alien spaceship comes by, you'll be able to read the numbers on it.
Oh, Ray, give it a rest.
Be able to wave to the aliens, and when they wave back, you'll be able to see them.
The only aliens that are going on, Ray, I think are interested in you.
Oh, no, another probe.
You keep talking like this business, you're going to get a visit. Some things you just really don't want to happen.
Have you gotten your book yet?
No, I called Joan today. She was being a you-know-what, and she said, you only called me yesterday. I said, yeah, I know, but I just called to see what you were doing. So she's just whatever.
I don't know. I think everybody here thought she was quite pleasant. I think she treated us all really well.
There's the secret. You got it. She does. Joan is two completely different people. She's when she's in front of people, she wants them to all think she's very nice and civilized, and then as soon as she's not in front of anymore, she turns into a bad person.
You bring that out in people.
Well, in her, I certainly do.
Hello, good signals into Wisconsin this evening, fellas, N9 TBE here.
Oh, there's cheese country.
How's things in Wisconsin tonight?
Let's see. Yeah, everybody's sounding good this evening, guys. Band conditions are pretty good.
Yes, they are. You're coming in here to Massachusetts. Beautiful tonight.
How are things in a chicken coop?
Oh, well, pretty darn comfortable right about now.
How much power are you running?
About a kW.
Yeah, that radio sounds good. What is it?
The old Kenwood 450. Kenwood TS 450.
Oh, boy, do I have egg on my face.
Again.
No, that radio does sound good, though. What microphone's on it?
Believe it or not, I'm running just an older PV audio music mic.
Yeah, now is the processor on or off? I'll bet you it's off, right?
You are correct.
Yeah, because that radio wouldn't sound that good with the processor on.
Well, let me give you a processor once. I don't know. I did back down the mic gain a little bit, but there's the processor.
Yeah, what do you guys think? I think it sounds better without it. Sounds smoother.
Well, you got to give me more than 10 milliseconds of talk time.
Right there, no processor.
Well, either way, it sounds damn good for an old radio like that. Of course, I've never really talked to anybody on it. This is the first time I've ever talked to anybody on a 450.
Yeah, that radio's a little long in the tooth.
With it, and you guys always give me good reports, so I'm happy about that.
Randy, didn't you own a 450?
Oh yeah, I had two 450s. That was one of my radios that I liked the best. I had the 450, the 850, and the 950.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 430, they can sound okay. The 440, they're 430, 440, they're probably pretty similar, but that one just sounds real good. That sounds probably better than the other ones.
Yeah, I used to run a Heil with the Heil Dual, it was called. It had an HM5 and an HM4 element, both in the same microphone. And I had really good reports with that. It was back in the day, but it was a good rig. Always worked really good. Never had a second of trouble with that.
Hey, I was going through my junk today down cellar, and I'm filling my second trash can. My promise to myself is I'm going to send that trash can out every Monday filled right to the max with all the junk I'm trying to get out of this house. And I run into this beautiful card, ICOM Service Center, Michigan, 1792 Nash Drive, St. Joseph, Michigan. Guess who?
It's from Matt.
Yep, KD8ZB.
That's where I sent my radio.
ICOM Factory Repair Service, amateur radio, avionics, and marine. And then down the bottom, which I think you knew, independently owned and operated by SAR Technical Services.
Yeah, Bad Mike was going to try to get set up as a service center.
Yeah? Who's going to be his tech?
Oh, he's going to do it himself, he said. He just got to read a book. He'll be all right.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he'll at least be able to put the S-meter lights in.
I'll bet you if he was an ICOM service tech, within a couple of months, he'd be damn good at replacing screens.
Yeah, you sure would be. I hope they're not radioactive.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know. Anyway, Jamie, good to hear you. You're sounding good into Toad Harbor tonight. You guys, I'm going to check out Best 73 and our KB2ZVP.
Have a nice night, Randy.
Yep, have a good one, guys.
Good night, Doc.
Bug 02 and 9TD, clear.
Hey, before you go, Jamie.
That flamethrower in action.
Hey, just a second. Jamie, before you run off, I want to see if you can hear Doc out there. Doc is, he's here in New York, a little further from me, but he's only running 100 watts, but he's got a double bazooka antenna, and he's got a real good signal in close. Doc, say hi to Jamie out there in Wisconsin.
Yeah, hi, Jamie. I'm hearing you real good.
Oh, you're just above an S9. You're up for 100 watts. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, you're 20 over.
There's no problem there at all, Doc. You're doing a great job up here this evening. No problem at all.
Okay, thank you.
I'll tell you what, that's a good working antenna you got there, Doc, because you do sound like you got a kilowatt running. I mean, you really have a great signal here. All right, you guys, Best 73, and we'll see you all tomorrow. KB2ZVP.
Good night, Randy. Y'all rest easy now. 73's KC3KXB.
I'll see you, Randy.
And I got another $482 back for insurance on the other house today. So little by little, every day another check comes in. Okay, see you later. N1DBL.
Hey, Ray, you were doing 40 over that time.
Well, I'll tell you, you got one generous meter there.
Yeah, well, it's an LCG. It takes signal from the radio, and it knows exactly the numbers, you know?
Ooh, I can't hear that one.
And you were doing it that time.
Yeah, that's Dick. He's out towards Boston area. He's down south of Boston, but he's only running 100 watts. So where's Bruce tonight? Bruce, KD1 Mountain Whiskey. Where are you? I don't know. That Bruce, I don't know what he's up to. Tom, talk to me. You have great audio. I want to hear your audio some more.
All right. Don't know what to say, but yeah, today was a good day.
Yeah, it was a little cool, but it was a good day. Yeah, sometimes I get in here and there's like 4 or 5 people in here and they have really lousy audio, and I'm sitting here like an idiot adjusting the radio. A few days ago I did this, about 4 or 5 days ago. I spent an hour. And then today, same thing. I went through all the menus and changed a few things and this, that, and the other thing, and then finally somebody comes in that sounds good. I'll tell you who has really good audio is this Jeff there that came in, was telling you about your splattering. He's, down southern New Jersey. That's an Anon. Boy, does that thing sound good. He has really good audio.
Yeah, what's he running?
An Anon. You don't sound any better than that. Him and Gary both have the same one, and they both sound very, very good.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with an Anon.
They're made in India, and they're just a box. They're just a plain box. No, not a button or anything. Just an on-off switch, and you hook that to a computer, and that's how you run them. You wouldn't like it. Doesn't have all the nice buttons like the Kenwood. So you saw both radios. You saw the Kenwood and you saw the 7851. Which one would you rather have?
7600.
Yeah, but you just won $100 million, and money's no object. Which one would you rather have?
Maybe one of each.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. Why be cheap?
Now, Ray, that would be a hard choice.
Well, if you had tons of money, it's not a hard choice because, like you said, you'd buy both of them. But the reality is the Kenwood's less than 1/3 the money. You know, which one you're going to buy? You're going to buy the Kenwood.
Yeah, I would.
It's a pretty radio. It looks really nice. It's big. It's just a great radio. It's just everything about it works just really good.
What have you heard about the Alpha 70, I think 76A or 77A? What have you heard about them?
Well, if it's the older Alpha with the 3CX800 tubes in it, they're a really good amplifier. They're a very, very good amp, but they're not any better than the Commander. I think you'd be way better off buying the Commander because you can buy the Commanders cheap, and they're probably as good or better. This HF 2500 Commander that I'm running, I have one in, what's his name? John, John, the electrical engineer, has one. And they're just a really top-of-the-line amplifier. You can't do any better than one of those. And listen very carefully, Tom, and I never steered you wrong yet. You can't do any better than an HF 2500. You may be able to do as good, but you won't do better. Unless you buy that amp that Randy had, but they're going to cost you $6,000 anyway.
Yeah. Now, what AL 1500, HF 15? Which one is it?
The one that Randy has?
No, the other one.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. Now you have me convinced. You're talking about Alpha, and then I'm saying Commander, and now you're back to something else.
Yeah, you said there's 1500 there. Are you talking Commander 1500 or what?
No, the Commander that I have is the HF 2500. HF 2500. And you can buy those very reasonable, and they're as good an amp as money can buy.
Yeah, if you and John are running them.
Yeah, and the beauty of that amp is they only require 40 watts of drive. So radios were running throttled way, way, way back, and it's going to be cleaner and doesn't beat up the radio. That's what I'm driving the HF 2500 now with 40 watts, and it puts out 1500 watts with 40 watts of drive.
Yeah, you can't beat that, and you sound like Ray.
Well, it's a great amp. The only thing, the downside's the tubes, but you buy the amp, you shop around, you get another set of tubes. They're around. Might have to pay a little bit more, but they're if you don't abuse them and they're good to start with, you'll never have to change them. These tubes are the best tubes that IMAC ever made. The tubes in my amp right now are 92, so 2002, 2012. Let's see, 92, so 2002. 2012, and then 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. They're 27 years old, and they're as good as new.
Hey, there's one of those Alphas on QTH right now for $5.
Well, there's the problem. Everybody that has one of those Alphas wants... Is that the one Randy has, or the one he was just talking about?
No, the one like Randy has.
Yeah, one tube or two tubes?
One.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's a beautiful amp, but, you're going to spend $5,000 or $6,000 for it. I mean, just hope you see it at one at a tag sale one day for a couple $100. Then it's worth buying.
Yeah, it's just back from whoever that guy is it's the guru on him, and he was all over it and did this and that and all the updates and everything.
Yeah, well, if you want to spend $5,000 for an amp to put out 1,500 watts, great. But you can buy a Commander for probably 1,500, and it'll do the same thing.
Well, this guy says it'll do a lot more than 1,500.
Well, so will the Commander. And the beauty of it is you'll have enough money left over, Tom, to buy the Kenwood.
Yeah, you're right.
I think you ought to forget about the hail repair and put it towards radios.
You're looking to get me skinned alive.
He doesn't need a new radio. That damn radio he's got sounds great, and it is a good radio. You know, if he had some old archaic radio, I'd say yeah, definitely buy the Kenwood. But even though the Kenwood is better than the 7600, it's not really any better where you're going to see any difference.
Yeah, but whatever. Put the money towards radio equipment.
Well, then you know, there's people that buy new radios 3, 4, 5 times a year, and they just keep on buying them and buying them and buying them. What do you do with if you're a person like that?
You don't buy radio. You don't have to buy radios, but radio equipment, a new amp or an antenna or whatever.
Well, I don't know. Tom's got a, great radio. He's got a good antenna, and the amp, maybe you could use a new amp. But, I mean, Tom, if I was going to buy an amplifier, I told you what I would buy if I were you. I'd buy that solid-state amp from Palstar.
Yeah, that's what, $3,400.
Yeah, it is, and it's a lot of money, but it's solid state, and if you don't abuse it, you'll never have it, it's just a really nice machine. Again, what's it going to give you? Not a hell of a lot, because, I mean, it's really only a 1,000-watt amplifier, and that thing you got there will actually put out 1,000 watts, so. If I were you, okay, now I'm just telling you what I would do. But if I was you and I was looking for a new amp for more power, I would hunt around for a good Commander HF 2500. You can't beat them. For $1,600, they'll do 2,500 watts. Drive it with 40. They're just a really good amplifier. And you sell yours for what, $800, and so for an extra $800, you got a much better amp.
Yeah, my ADV, I'd probably keep it for a backup.
Well, yeah, keep it for a backup, I guess. But I'm just telling you, these guys like to go spend $5,000 or $6,000 for an amplifier. It's just simply crazy. You know, if you didn't have an amp at all, let's say you had no amp at all, and you said, give me your best shot, what would you buy for an amp? I would tell you to buy the Commander or that LA1K from Palstar. Either one of those two. But you have an amp, and you're not going to gain much. You're not going to gain much buying if you bought a new radio and a new amp. You're almost going to gain nothing at all. So if you're happy with the radio you have, just stick with it. But you got all that old radio junk there. You were supposed to clean it all up, sell it all, and take that money and put it towards something else so it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah, Ray, you're absolutely right.
You know, I got a sneaking suspicion you have a lot more stuff sitting around there that you don't tell us about. So just start selling it all off, and when it's all gone, then see how much money you got and take that money and go buy, say, a new amp, and then sell the damn amp you got, too. That amp you got, I mean, I guess you could call it a good backup amp, but that's not a great amplifier. Even that amp with 2 tubes isn't a great amplifier.
I wouldn't swap my 7600 for anything.
Right, well, and that's a smart move, because that 7600 is just a really, really, really good radio.
It puts a big grin on my face every time I uncover it and turn it on.
Right, you only paid, what, $75 for it?
No, 25.
$25 for it. Well, then, you know what? You better hang on to it. I told Randy gave you a good deal the other day. What did he say? Give you triple? I'm going to give you 4 times the money you paid for it. How's that?
Yeah, no thanks.
Hey, a nice, crisp, clean $100 bill.
See, I couldn't even buy my 718 back for that.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you had a 718 and you went to a 7600, you must be in hog heaven.
I am, I'm telling you.
Yeah, no kidding, because that 718, that's not a great radio.
No, but it was all I could afford after the fire, so you know.
Well, look at God smiled upon you, and look what you got. So, hey, it worked out for you. Yeah, who's ever in there, go ahead. I'm having a hard time hearing you, though. N1 DBO.
November 4 Whiskey Alpha Tango.
Whiskey Alpha Tango, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, I don't have my amp on, but I just hooked up these G7300s and was wondering if it sounded okay to begin with.
No, it does not. You're going to have to get into the menu there and turn up your treble a bit. I would turn up the treble probably +4. And that's going to make it sound a whole heck of a lot better.
Okay, I'll try that. Thank you.
Yeah, turn up the treble to +4. I think the bass is going to be on 0. You could probably leave the bass there and turn the speech processor on and put it on 3. Is the speech processor on?
No, it's not.
Okay, well, processor's on 3. Treble's on +4. Bass probably on 0. And the mic gain, I don't know. If you're running the hand mic, probably 50%. And it'll sound spectacular.
Yeah, I have a Heil headset right now, the IC.
Well, I don't know if that sounds good on that radio, but I've heard that Heil headset on many radios, and as far as I'm concerned, they only belong one place, in the trash. But I'm not sure I ever heard one on a 7300, so maybe that radio's got enough range to make it sound halfway decent. But there's a guy out in Michigan that has one, and it sounds like crap, and he just can't get him off it. He just uses it no matter what. Half the time I can't even understand what he's saying.
Okay, well, it works good on my other iPhone, but it's got the IC on it. Fiddle around with it.
Well, your audio is very, very flat and kind of on the bassy side, so it's really hard to understand you. Did you say you just put on an ICM, or you have an ICM? I can't understand what you're saying now. Did you change microphones?
No, I'm still on the same headset.
Oh, okay. I heard you that time. Okay, but do you have an ICM?
No. All I got is a hand mic that came with it.
Okay, good. Now listen, if you're going to buy a microphone for that radio, you want the oh God, what is that good mic? What's that microphone that he wants?
BCD1.
Yeah, from Amazon, BCD-1. And who makes it? What's the name of it, Mike? I can't remember.
I'm trying to look on the mic here to see. Give me a second. MXL.
That's it. Write that down. MXL BCD-1. They're like $159 from Amazon. That's the mic. If you're going to buy a mic, that's the one you want to get.
Okay.
Actually, we had another guy buy one, and he had to get the tube preamp for it. They don't have enough gain to run that. Radio doesn't have a lot of gain. So maybe if you have well, just run the hand mic. The hand mic sounds great on them things.
Where is he located?
I don't know. Where are you?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia.
Well, you're good S9 in Manheim, Pennsylvania. WA3FPN. Name here is Mike.
Okay, Mike. I don't have my amp on yet, but I'm going to do some other things. I think turn that on.
Well, the first thing you want to find is that treble control, bass and treble. You get into the treble and see if you can get that headset sounding better. Mike, did you hear Randy say that ICOM's going to stand behind those radios and replace the screen no matter what, I guess for just about forever?
No, I did not hear that.
Well, if you believe the guy from ICOM, and he's actually the real ICOM guy. He wrote a letter to one of the guys, and he basically said that they don't know, they still haven't figured out why the screens are failing, and I guess they know now even the new screens they put in fail. So what they're going to do is the company, at least this is the letter that somebody read. The company that made the screens went out of business, so the guy could probably, if he's in Japan, he probably had to commit suicide, and they're out of business, and they're getting new screens, and they will put them in no matter what for, I guess, as long as you have the radio.
Probably not if you bought it used, though.
I think they will still do it. I be honest with you, you may think I'm nuts, but I think they listen to the world famous Toad Harbor Net. They probably listen to us quite often through those receivers, because just about everything I mentioned, that's what they're going to do. And I've mentioned this 100 times. They have to replace those screens, and they have to fix those early radios till the end of time, no matter how long a guy has one, or they might as well not even be in business anymore. There's no way they can build a Toad radio like that and then not stand behind it. And those screens, I'm guessing they pay $5 for one of those screens. So by the time they give the guy the screen, Matt, and he replaces it, he probably gets $50 or $60. It's less than $100. So they're just going to have to do it. They really don't have a choice. And that was the right thing to do anyway. That's exactly the right thing to do. So if they stand behind the radio, then they'll be okay.
So this was somebody in Japan that said this, or Matt?
No, it's not Matt. It's the ICOM. It's the ICOM America guy. He's like the guy that, I don't know. I'm assuming he's second in command in California, or maybe I think he's second in command probably to the Japanese guy, and he's ICOM America, and Randy has his name, and people call him up and talk to him all the time on these issues, but I guess that's what they decided to do. They're going to fix the radios for basically as long as you have them.
Well, that would certainly be great, but as of yet, and knock on wood, I have not had a problem with mine. But then, like I said, I don't use it that hard anyway.
Yeah, well, it's a miracle because basically everybody else does. So I don't know what to tell you. It's hard to believe everybody had a bad screen except you, But yet, on the other hand, the thing that always bugged me is look at the thousands and thousands and thousands of 7300s and 7600s and 7851s. And they didn't have any problem with those screens.
Yeah, well, why, after all that, why would they have changed their supplier?
Well, that's the thing. You don't know if they did. They don't know. They're never going to tell you. So who the hell knows? All I know is most of these radios that have screens in them never have problems with them. I mean, if the radio was 10 years old and the screen went bad, it'd be one thing. But I mean, this radio's a month old and the screen goes bad.
Yeah, and I'm not sure when they first came out. And trying to think of when I bought this one now. I think it was back in the fall, and it was less than 6 months old when I got it.
Right. Well, with a little luck, they'll replace the screen in it if it goes bad. So that'd be good. Because eventually, what I'm assuming is going to happen, they'll get a good screen company that knows how to make the screen, and they won't have a problem with it. And then when they finally put those screens into the radio, you won't have a problem with them anymore.
Well, they had good screen companies. If they're still using the same screen company, then maybe something in the design of the new screen is the issue. But it seems to me if whoever they want, if you're using somebody that's giving you a good product, why would you change?
Because instead of paying $5 a piece for them, they got them for $4.75, and they would change.
They must be like car dealers.
They're probably worse, because I've seen many really, really, really expensive radios destroyed for a part that cost $1.
Well, I guess time will tell.
Well, isn't the problem with that screen because people push on them too hard?
No, I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is the screens are just no good. The screens were screwed up. Because if that's the problem, then how come they didn't have the problem with the 7300?
Are they touch screens in 7300s?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, maybe that's why I don't have a problem with mine, because I very rarely touch it.
Well, it could be, but you have to see, the trouble with that radio is you have to touch the screen. In this Kenwood, it is a touch screen. It's kind of a partial touch screen, but you don't have to ever touch it. You really truly never have to touch it. But I don't think that would wreck it anyway. I don't think that's the issue.
Well, I would have to think you'd have to be banging on it pretty hard, or using a stylus or something with a point on it that may be doing something to it.
Yeah, but my screen went light on the left-hand side, and John's screen went light on the right-hand side. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't touch mine that much. I mean, when I'm doing a little tuning around, I'll change the mode where I have to touch it, but I very rarely, I never turn the compressor off. I very rarely touch the attenuator or the preamp, so hopefully they're going to make it right, and that'll be that.
Yeah, like I said, I could have lived with one or the other, but I couldn't live with both.
Yeah, well, then you have other issues there, too, being as close to the broadcast station as you are, and I'm not. I don't know how about other people, but, we don't have anything else going on here.
But, I'm not thoroughly convinced that the stuff behind my house was causing all the problems, because at nighttime, like right now, there's nothing on that tower that's running. Nothing. None of the repeaters, or like there's one repeater on 46-100, and that thing is really strong. That pins the S meter, and that might go during the day a couple of times, but it's never on at night. I could put it on 46-100 from now until tomorrow morning, probably at 7 in the morning, and you'll never hear anything. And yet, if I had that 7610 here and hit the preamp, the thing would be overloaded. Now, there's a TV station up on that tower that runs 24 hours a day. So maybe it's the TV station that's killing the radio. But on the other hand, 430 or 40 megahertz, how should that get into a low band radio?
Yeah, I wouldn't think. Didn't you say you have some high-powered broadcast stations out near you?
Yeah, WHYN is the closest one, and it's probably 10 miles away, and it comes in, well, it depends. On that radio, it was 50 dB over 9. On this one, it's about maybe 30 dB over 9. It's, again, it's not that strong to bother, well, but, the 7600 could live here with no issues at all, even with both preamps on. and the 7610 can't. So when a company, the whole, I was thinking about this today. I think about it a lot because from the day I started in radio and started understanding radios and started to learn about radios, which is basically back in the 70s, probably towards the late 70s, started realizing what you need in a radio to make it good. And at the time, it's the higher third-order intercept point. Well, third-order intercept is basically what Sherwood calls 100 kilohertz dynamic range. That's third-order intercept, and that's very important. And the way my buddy Paul always explained it to me is, if the third-order intercept is better on a receiver, then the whole receiver has to be better, because the only way you can get higher third-order intercept is to make everything in the radio better. So if you have a radio that's got, say, a third-order intercept of 0 dBm, and then one that's got a plus 30, the plus 30 is going to be a way, way better radio. And from the beginning of time, starting in about 1975, that was the whole thing. Every time a new radio came out, the whole object was to get a better third-order intercept point. Well, and that has been... It basically started that Yaesu two-piece I had a third-order intercept of probably minus 45, maybe minus 50. And, of course, this radio here has a third-order intercept of probably plus 40. So, essentially, it's 80 dB better. Now, in the interim years from 75 up through, a couple years back where they started building radios with plus 40 third-order intercepts, I mean, every radio was better. And then they come along with that stupid radio there, that 7610, and they lost like 20 dB of third-order intercept. And that's totally, totally, totally unacceptable. But that's what you get when you get an SDR radio. And I was trying to explain this to Bill yesterday. Everybody is brainwashed. The way Bill was talking yesterday, if you were listening, he's convinced that he has to have an SDR. He said, well, this isn't, the radio I have is not an SDR. The one he has now is an SDR. It's a 7610. But, he's in his mind, if you don't have an SDR, you're behind the times. And that's just really totally ass backwards. It's the guys that have the analog radios that are ahead. It's the SDRs are all very low on third-order intercept and/or that 100 kilohertz spacing, and you just can't make an SDR at this time. You just can't make one do what it has to do to handle a strong signal, and that is going to be a real big problem for a lot of different people. Like, say, a person that lives where I live, or a guy that lives in the Bronx or inside New York City, or a guy that lives in Boston or Philadelphia. The 7610 will not survive under those conditions. N1 DBL.
N1 DBL, KB1IR.
WA2EE.
Yeah, go ahead, IR. Go ahead.
Yes, this is John. We've talked before. I believe your name is Ray. Go ahead.
That's correct, John. Ray, and just outside of Springfield, Mass.
Yeah, that's correct. Anyways, I just thought I'd jump in real quick. Was located in southern Connecticut, and I had the pretty decent signal there, and so did you. You guys. I'm out in Chicago now, running in a hotel room, running 100 watts, and just want to let you know that all you guys are about 25 over in Chicago, and hopefully you're copying me okay on 100 watts. N1 DBL, KB1IR. Again, name here is John.
Are you the guy that throws the antenna out to a tree or something, or are you going through some other station?
No, I've been here about a month, and I got a 300-foot long antenna. I got permission from the hotel manager to run between trees. I feed it with a ladder line and have a tuner. But I'm running 9100, an ICOM 9100 that I just bought, and seems to work okay. And so that's what I got here. And you guys do sound good. I'm not sure the other station, I believe, is in New York State, but you're both quite strong. And the other night you were down in the mud a little bit, so conditions are changing. Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, that radio you've got sounds great. That really does. It's a good sounding radio. And you have a hell of a signal considering you're running 100 watts. How high above the ground is the antenna?
I'm ashamed to say. It's a temporary antenna. I'm taking it down in about a week and heading back to Connecticut. It's about 30 feet off the ground. But it is 150 feet long in each leg, so certainly that helps having the distance. And I do have the speech processor on, and I don't know if I have it cranked up too high. I know you guys are pretty good on audio critique, so I wonder if you could tell me if you think my compression's too high. I just bought the radio and, learning all the buttons and everything. But I don't want to interrupt you guys. I'll let you, get back to your friends there. N1DBL, KB1IR.
Okay, John. No, I wouldn't change a thing. The radio sounds really good. And I would just leave. I would set those settings and not even touch it. I don't think you can improve upon that, especially if you're running the mic that came with the radio. Okay, 7-3. See you later. See you when you get back to Connecticut. N1DBL.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ray, for the contact, and I do appreciate it. Yeah, just a hand mic and 100 watts, so nothing fancy and kind of fun from Chicago to Mass. You're making it pretty good. 73 KB1AR. I'll be listening.
Well, you sound really good here in New York, also.
Oh, thank you, guys. I'll let you guys carry on, and in a few days you might hear me on with a stronger signal. 73 KB1AR. You listening?
Yeah, KB1IR, WA3FPN, Manheim, Pennsylvania. The name here is Mike, so I'll let you know. You're about 10 over 9 here in eastern Pennsylvania. Real good signal for 100 watts.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, 300-foot long antenna may help.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's carrying the load, but now you're no problem copying you here.
73, you guys carry on. Thanks for letting me in.
Anyway, another good sounding ICOM. And somebody else came in right after him. If you're in there, go ahead.
And 4WA2.
Yep, go ahead. Pick it up.
Okay, I've changed. You sound any better?
Yes.
Yeah, it does here.
I put the treble on +4. The bass is actually +1. The processor's on 3. The mic gain 67%.
Sounds pretty damn good. I might try the treble on +5.
Okay. Give me a minute.
You're peaking 20 over here in Manheim, PA.
But the important thing is he sounds a lot better.
He was in Richmond, right?
I have no idea.
Right. You said try the treble on +5?
Yeah.
Probably saw you at the Hamfest.
So what are you doing with the Chevy 2? You done any work on it?
I hesitate to tell you because I know you're going to give me hell, but I moved the Chevy 2 out of the garage on Sunday because I bought 9 skids of boat anchors.
Well, what's the object of you buying boat anchors?
Well, me and another guy went together, and we're going to sell some of them, part some of them out, keep some of them, and hopefully recoup our investment.
Well, I don't know. I just, I'm different than you are. You sit in front of a radio like you have, or this Kenwood, or any of these top-end radios, and then you go back to a boat anchor. I mean, that's the. How do you get a thrill out of that?
It's art. Hey, we all have our own sicknesses,
Well, That proves it with beyond a shadow of a doubt. I agree with you, because that to me is, there's only one radio, just one radio that I would like to own, and it is a Drake DSR-2. I would love to have that. That's kind of a boat anchor radio, but it's a $3,000, $1975. It costs $3,000. So it's one hell of a rig. So if you ever see a DSR-2, not a 1, not a DSR-1, a DSR-2, Dog Sugar Radio 2, buy it. Because I've got the service manual for it.
No matter what cost?
No, $400 or less. If you find one, you're going to be able to get it for like $400 or less. But buy it. As long as it's not all beat up and scratched up. As long as it's all there. It's all there. Because I have a guy here, as long as he's still alive, he'll work for me, and I've got the manual for that. And I'll just give him the radio. It might take him a year, but he'll get it back in wicked shape. And this guy's a magician with that old stuff.
Well, I'll keep my eyes open. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to go to Dayton, but I don't know. I won't know until Thursday when they're going to be doing the operation. So that's going to kind of depend on whether or not I can go to Dayton. But if I get out there, I'll keep my eyes open for one.
Well, just for the hell of it, if you ever see a Drake DSR-2, look it over real careful, because that is one of the most incredible radios ever made.
Well, if I find one and it's within your price range, I'll be calling you on the phone to see if you really want it.
Yeah, I would definitely buy one of those. If it's all there, definitely. I would take the shot, because if this guy's still alive, and I could have another guy that I might be able to get him to work on it too. But they're just an amazing radio, truly amazing. Old Nixie tubes. You know what a Nixie tube is?
I have I think it's a Tektronix. No, it's a Heathkit voltmeter here that has Nixie tubes in it.
Right, well, that DSR-2 had Nixie tubes in it. Boy, I'll tell you, that was a classy-looking radio lit up at night.
That's why I like the tube stuff.
Well, that's not a tube radio. It's all solid state, but it had Nixie tubes in it because it was before the LEDs. But that's when I learned my first lesson that I try to teach all you guys. I had a Yaesu two-piece, the Yaesu separate receiver transmitter, FL101 transmitter, and FR101D receiver. Do you know what those are? You ever see them or hear of them?
No, I don't keep up too much with Yaesu stuff. I was never a big Yaesu guy, but the tube stuff lit up at night. That's the cool thing.
Well, maybe, but anyway, I had the two-piece Yaesu, which was the first digital receiver ever made. It had a digital display on the frequency for the receiver, and it worked. And I had one of those for probably 3 or 4 years, 2, 3, 4 years, whatever. And I used to listen late at night. I used to stay up until 4 in the morning every night listening with my stacked 3-element beams down towards New Jersey. And I'd tune up above channel 40 on the CB bands, and I'd hear these weak signals way, way off in the distance. And I know they were down in New Jersey. And I would call, and I called for a year and a year and a half, and I never got one of those guys to ever return. And then I bought the DSR-2. And, of course, I would tune around all night long, and I'd tune in these little weak signals on the Yaesu. And then I'd switch to the DSR-2, and flip switch, and guess what? You didn't hear anything on the DSR-2, but you'd hear them on the Yaesu, the guys that I've been trying to break for a year. So finally I started tuning around with the two receivers, and sure enough, it was somebody on, 30 or 40 channels away locally that was a 10/9 or 20/9 that was causing images all the way down the band and the receiver, and you'd hear them, in several different spots. And that was my first lesson, my first perfect good lesson. Because that DSR-2 would out-receive any radio ever made. So if it was there, you would have heard it on the Drake. But obviously the signal was just not there. That was the whole thing. So after that, I was convinced about these high dynamic range receivers.
So how long ago was that you had that?
1975.
And what'd you get rid of it for?
I got rid of it because I bought it because Drake was supposed to come out with a matching transmitter for it, and it was going to transceive just like the Yaesu one, except a million times better. And I kept on calling Drake, and for that I had that radio for 1 week, and they finally told me, no, we're not going to make the transmitter. So I brought it back. I brought it back to the company I bought it from, and I took the 15% hit on the price. But I bought it because I wanted the matching transmitter, which they never made.
I'm going to have to look that up. I'm not familiar with that one. And I used to look at the books all the time back when I was a young ham and wish that I could have this and that and the other thing. And that's a lot of the reason why I'm buying these boat anchors now, because it was stuff that was really cool when I first got into ham radio, and I couldn't afford it then, so now it's happening now.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you never probably even saw DSR-2 advertised or anything, because the $3,000 in 1975 would be like $10,000 or $15,000 now. So you probably even never heard of one of those. They only made 200 of them for the entire production run of those radios. There was only 200 made, so they're a fairly rare item. But if you want something truly unique, and you want the most unique receiver you'll ever have, and you can get a DSR-2 and get it to work right, you'll throw away all those boat anchors, because that Drake was 100 times better than any of the stuff you're talking about.
Yeah, but aesthetically speaking, it's still not as artsy as like an SX-28 Hallicrafters. I'm looking at a picture of it now. It's rectangular, has the Nixie tubes. There's a video of it on YouTube. It's pretty cool looking.
Well, again, like I told you, until you see this with your own eyes, there is no way in hell that I or you could explain to some other guy that isn't going to take you at blind faith what happens in receivers. It just isn't going to happen. It'll never happen. You'll never be able to convey this. And that was a great lesson for me, because I had been trying to break those weak guys down in New Jersey for a year, night after night, calling, yelling, break, 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 all night long, and I never was able to get them. And I could never figure out why I couldn't get them, because I was running very high power, and it just didn't make any sense to me. And then it dawned on me, when I bought the Drake, the reason I can't get them, because they aren't there.
You better be careful what you say there. FCC might be listening. That is kind of funny, though. Is anybody else still here? WA3FPN.
Yeah, I'm still here, but I'm about ready to pack it in. WA2ES.
Think they're going to arrest me for something that happened in 75?
I don't know. What's the statute of limitations on that?
I think they got other things to worry about. Like you read in one of the latest QSTs, they find some satellite manufacturer, I don't know, $800,000 or $600,000 because they put a satellite up without permission.
Oh, I think I heard about that. Did they give up on the Baofangs?
No, the ARRL had a road test in April on a kind of a Chinese 0 to 6 meter radio. It's a SDR 0 to 6 meters, and I guess they tried to test it before, and it was so pathetic. They said that the harmonic, listen to this now, listen very carefully to what I'm going to tell you. The harmonic output on second and third and fourth harmonics of the primary frequency was the same exact power as the primary frequency.
Ouch.
Yeah, so they sent it back, and over the time, the company managed to get it to in spec. So now it's in spec, and but it's just a pile of crap. It's I don't know. It's like $600. It's a $600 mini transceiver, but it's just a gigantic pile of junk. And that's one of those things where if you put it up here, all I'd be listening to is that TV station out there. Come back.
Well, you'd think for $600 on a Chinese radio, they could make something pretty good.
Yeah, I love my little bull things, man. I got 3 or 4 of them.
They're the biggest pile of junk ever made. And you hear the story I'm telling you about the overloaded receivers? The Bofang is the worst one there ever was made.
What do you want for $20? I still haven't figured out how to program mine yet.
Oh, use Chirp, man. It's great.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I guess I just haven't been ambitious enough to spend the time with it.
You wouldn't want to try. I had a friend that was out mobile. He had one of those Bofangs in his mobile unit. And here I am up here on the hill here running like 60 watts output into a stacked 8-element beam. Okay, it's 2 4-element beams, end-mounted, stacked side by side, scienced out to the max, and they worked like spectacular. And he'd be 15 miles away, just about pitting my S-meter, and I'd be talking to him like I'm talking to you guys, and all of a sudden he doesn't come back, and I'd say, hey, his name was Lawrence. Lawrence, where are you? Doesn't come back. Hello, Lawrence, are you there? Well, calling Lawrence. Nope. And then I'd say, Lawrence, where the hell are you? I'm here. Where'd you go? What happened? I haven't heard you like for the last 5 minutes. And I tell him, I said, the reason you don't hear me is because the damn radio's overloaded, and you're almost pinning my S-meter here, and yet you can't even hear me. That's how bad that radio is. And again, it's very hard to convince somebody that has no prior knowledge of that kind of stuff, but that's what happened all the time with him, And then finally, he went out and he bought one of these little mobile units like I got, and these things are bulletproof. This the 3100 Yaesu. I got a repeater 160 feet away, and it does not overload that little mobile unit. Well, he bought one of those, and then he found out real fast. Then when I talked to him, I never lost him again. Yeah, if you want to get in, go ahead. And not, I'm going to get ready to go to bed too. N1 DVL.
I just had changed that triple to 5. Does it sound better now, or sound okay?
Yeah, it sounds much better than it did. Yeah, now I can understand what you're saying.
Okay, well, I appreciate y'all helping me with it. Didn't mean to bust in like that. I know some people don't like it. Somebody's always wanting to check an antenna or something like that. But it'll take me a little while to get used to this one. It's so much smaller than the one I had. I couldn't believe it. Actually, it's small enough to go in a mobile unit pretty good, but I don't need that. I already got that. Thank you very much, both of you, and we'll be probably going to go into N4WAT.
Yeah, what was your name? The N4 station, what was your name?
Steve, Sierra Tango Echo.
Okay, Steve. Yeah, no, anytime especially when you get a new radio, especially if we know how the what the radios are. But I only push 2 radios in this day and age. Is there's only 2 radios to own, either a 7300 or a Kenwood 890, and I can't see really anywhere in between. If you're going to buy a new rig, if you're going to buy a used one, you can buy a 7600, another really great radio. But if you're buying new, For $1,000, that radio there is the best damn radio money could ever buy. It's just a great radio for that kind of money. Anyway, I'm going to go to bed. 7-3, everybody. Catch you tomorrow. And 1 DBL.
You take care, Ray. Have a nice night. And I'm heading out to 73 all WAA2E.
Okay, good night, Ray. KC3, KXP. Y'all rest easy now.
1 second, Tom.
$446 for this radio. That's hard to beat. Good night. N4WA2.
Yeah, good night. So, Tom, when's the first flight? Hello, Tom. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
When is the first flight?
It has to dry out again.
Are you going to put the two plugs in, or take the chance on death?
Oh, it's definitely going to get the dual ignition.
Before you fly it the first time?
Probably.
Uh-oh. Okay. Let me just thumb through the Kennedy curse book here for a second to make sure I got the right page.
Sounds like he's backing you into a corner there, Tom.
Yeah, I know.
All right, guys, 7-3s, I'm out of here, too. Ray, I was looking for a review on EHAM for that thing, and I guess there weren't very many of them made because nobody reviewed it. So we'll see you guys again probably tomorrow night or whenever. WA3FPN in Manheim, Pennsylvania will be clear.
Okay, Mike, 7-3.
And always a pleasure to talk to you.
I found it, Tom. Dual ignition.
7-3.
Never, ever take off without a dual ignition.
I know, I hear you, Ray.
How many cylinders is that? 2?
2.
Wow, 2 cylinders. And you used to have 4.
Should have told him no copy, Tom.
Yeah, Roger.
Can you put 2 of those engines under the hood?
That'd make it so far out of whack you'd never fly.
Put 1 on each wing.
That's right. That's a great idea. Have 1 on each wing. Put them on the struts. Does that plane have struts?
Yeah, it sure does. It's like a Piper Cub.
Right, so put the 2 engines in close on the struts. That way, if you lose 1 engine, you'll still have a pretty good directional stability.
Yeah, never thought of that, Ray.
I have a much better idea. We're smart, right? We're really smart. Put them up on top of the cabin, right up above, just like that lake plane, and have 1 engine pushing and 1 engine pulling.
Yeah, they made a Cessna like that.
Yeah, that was never very good either.
What wasn't any good?
That push-pull Cessna they had.
Yeah, they had issues with that. I think they had overheating issues with that, didn't they?
I don't remember. It's been a long time since I read about it, but I know that there was something going on with those things that they didn't last very long.
Yeah, that was a nice-looking airplane. That looked like a nicely balanced plane, but I'm pretty sure that second engine had overheating problems. But, yeah, whatever. But the beauty of that is if you lose 1 engine, everything's still right on the center line, so it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, that was a 4 or 6 place plane.
I know, that was a beautiful airplane. That was kind of a nice plane, but like I said, they didn't last too long. The military bought a lot of those.
Yeah, they flew them in Vietnam.
I think they were 180 horse or 200 horse with that, so the damn thing had almost 400 horsepower. Pretty nice little airplane.
That'd be hell on the pocketbook.
Not for a rich guy like you.
Yeah, I hear you, Ray. You're the one that just sold the house at, $2.5 million?
Yeah, it was $2.5 million. I'd be a happy camper now. Unfortunately, it was a very, very tiny percentage of $2.5 million.
The Skymaster.
Yeah, Skymaster, right. I think you should get, Tom. I think a great plane for you, considering you're a ultralight pilot, is a what's that plane called? I had it right on the tip of my tongue. Starts with a P. It's got huge wings. Probably got a 44-foot wingspan.
Yeah, P-51.
No. It's a super short takeoff plane. Real short takeoff airplane. Of course, they made them with a 300 horse Lycoming, and then I think they made them with like a 400 horse turbine engine. Platus or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. And I'll tell you what, over here at the county airport in Ashtabula County, they make a T-51 that either have fixed gear or retracts. And I'm trying to think what motor they had in there. I think it's probably three-quarter scale P-51, but they call it a T-51. And I know it has retracts, or it can be a fixed gear. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they're running a Rotax engine in there, that 582.
And what's that little number cost?
Big bucks.
Well, you know what a real P-51's worth these days?
Yeah, what you got for your house? About $2.5 million.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's about right. $2.5 million, exactly. You know who's got one?
Not right off.
Tom Cruise.
That Pilatus will take off in 1,414 feet and land in 1,033 feet.
Oh, I think it's a hell of a lot shorter than that.
Not the one that I'm looking at here. I'm looking at the specs on it. It's a PC-6.
Right, but that's probably fully loaded.
I'm looking to see if they say here.
Of course, that plane probably weighs 4,000 or 5,000 pounds. It's a big airplane.
Yeah, it has a real long nose on it.
Listen, do you guys know anything about airplanes? Do you know anything about airplanes, Mike?
I knew enough how to fly them when I was flying.
Okay, then I've told this story before, but it's worth telling again. I witnessed this with my own eyes. I was at Annapolis, Maryland, down at the Naval Academy with my father and my uncle and my cousin. And a guy flew in a Piper Tri-Pacer. It was one of these planes they were giving away. They were raffling it off or something, and he flew it in there and he landed it. And we watched him take off from a football field. He started in the end zone, and he cleared the goalpost on the other end, 300 feet. Now, you're talking less than 300 feet, because he had to clear the goalpost, and he did it with a Piper Tri-Pacer.
Oh, yeah, I believe that. I've seen those guys do that already. This Pilatus is max takeoff weight is 6173. Max landing weight is 5863, and the max payload is 2646 with fuel 2381.
I just kind of think that plane could take off a lot faster than 1,100 feet. What's the shortest your plane can take off when it had the other engine in it, Tom?
Which one are you talking about, Ray?
Your ultralight when it had the four-cylinder engine in it.
Oh, that'd take off at 100 feet.
Yeah, that's what I figured. They can take off real short. Right, so if that had 100, let's say you had a 60 horse, if that had like 100 horse or 110 horse, it'd probably take off in 50 feet.
Yeah. What about the newer version, the one I have next to me in the thing down there? He's got that 25 horse with the with that gearbox. He still hasn't got the prop on it yet.
Hell, if you have a good stiff wind coming down the runway, 15, 20 miles an hour, you can probably take off straight up.
Yeah.
I told you one time at the airport there was a J3 that was trying to land, and it was a real stiff headwind, and he came in 2 or 3 times, and he was right out there, stationary, but he couldn't get the plane down to the ground. So finally, all the guys that sit there and shoot the bull all day long, they went out and they waited for him, and when he came down, they grabbed the struts on the wings and pulled them down on the ground and walked them over to the tie-downs.
Wow. That had to be one heck of a headwind.
Yeah, probably 20, 25 miles an hour. That's about it, because those planes will fly in that. We went up one time with this guy who was a really good pilot. His name was Mac, in our Piper Tri-Pacer. And it was 4 people in the plane. Me and my cousin, which probably at that time we probably weighed like 110 or 20 pounds, and the 2 guys. And he was flying that airplane at 45 miles an hour. It wouldn't stall. I mean, it would stay in the air at 45 miles an hour, and that had with 4 people in it.
I bet that was a hair raiser for the pilot.
Christ, he did what's the one where you do a loop, and when you get up on top of the loop, then you right the plane. You don't go around the bottom. What's that called?
Scary.
Well, he did it with the 4 people in the plane.
You're right, scary.
Not me. I don't need to be any way but straight and level.
Well, you know, Tom, before you get rid of that plane, I think you should just try one maneuver, the outside loop.
Yeah, right.
Don't forget extra underwear. All right, see you guys. WA3FBN.
N1 DVL 73.
All right, good night, Mike 73s. Okay, Rick. All right, KC3, KXB, clear. Catch everybody tomorrow night.
Good night. Good night.